Hello! Greetings and welcome to you, brave citizens of our new world. It is I, Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawak, coming to you live from the Lair 4.0. Today, once again, is a wonderful day as we are playing ourselves once more a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Huzzah!
Yay!
Sorry, my brain was just like, haha, words, what are those, for like a hot second.
I'm back.
Yeah, and so, we are getting our way into all of this wonderful action here. We've got all of our just fantastic players who are with us today. The A-Team, once again, ladies and gentlemen, oh, and I already got some requests from Esteban to hydrate and check my posture and things, and I will do that in a second after introducing our intrepid heroes that we've got here. Ladies and gentlemen, coming down from the top, we've got a one Cassie D20 Love Chew playing Siaces Blue Leaf, our Banshee Bard.
Oh, it's me. Hey, everybody. How are you doing? I missed you. We've been away for a few weeks, but we're back, and we're here, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time. Yeah.
We're here, we're queer, and our joint pain is mild to severe.
It's true!
And of course, we've got Spooty Poots, who I believe is also streaming over on her channel, playing our Yuan T, N. Vrail Olo.
You're goddamn right I am. I just hit go live.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah, dude. And of course, we've got Casey coming on in here, playing our Grung Druid named Floop.
Sophos boss. Wow.
There it is. There it is. I waited 3 weeks. What? Yeah, 3 weeks to hear that.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Oh, I miss those frogs, honestly.
Also cool forever.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
And of course, we've got our good friend Warden coming in playing our Thrycreen monk by the name of Keeper.
Good to be back.
Hell yeah. And last but certainly not least, of course, we've got Shaskar coming in playing Zax, our goblin artificer.
This week, we get to the dwarves.
The dwarves! Indeed!
Yay!
When
Fucking
last
made.
we left the A-Team, they had finished with Bromo Nubs, more or less, up in the sort of like the top corner up in the woods. They headed south out of the forest, in and around this area, just north of Egress, and started heading to the south and west towards the entrance of Ragakal along the edge of the town of Alora, the farming community that's there. There are some sort of paths that you guys are finding your way onto as you're making your way in towards the town. And you are still traveling with the dwarven... God, there's a word for this, a person that builds ships. Warden, what's the name of the person that builds ships?
Isn't that a shipwright?
Shipwright? Bosun?
Warden might be
Warden is
muted. I should be. I'm not
There
muted.
you
There you
Oh,
go.
there you are. Now you're open.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The answer is shipwright. Bosun is a position on a ship, like a ranking position, like
Oh.
in a crew.
That's
Whereas
so cool.
shipwright is a career position, like people who repair and build the actual ships themselves.
That's so rad. Warden for real knows how to like sail boats, and it's like one of my favorite facts about Warden is that I can always be
really?
like,
So
Yeah,
tell me
cool.
boat stuff, and he tells me boat
Doctor-
stuff, and it's super fun.
Doc just goes and looks at Warden and is like, boats.
Boats, and he's like, yeah, shut up. I'm like, love you, bye. But yeah.
Boat wheel.
Yes, the shipwright. And hello to you in the chat here. We got Mercenary Pen, we got Balthus, we got Palanthir, Esteban, Mr. Classic Magic, Kara the Volcano Shark, Rainer, Neri Tazuma, and of course, Tonberry Queen, all coming on in here. Palanthir, there's Claire is in there. Hello, everybody. Esteban, if I haven't mentioned you already. Boat Stuff Warden. That's right.
Hashtag boat stuff. Warden.
Hashtag boat stuff. But yeah.
There's a throwback.
Because I'm hashtag buttstuffdoc and he's hashtag boatstuffwarden.
That's okay, but hashtag buttstuffdoc is like a 5-year-old meme
It is
right now.
like forever ago, and it really does inform how long I've been doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, in an attempt to get towards the living mountains far to the west of the continent, off on an island, to figure out where Keeper's people have come from and possibly what's happened to them, they've realized that they need a ship, and they found themselves a guy what can build boats, a shipwright, a dwarf by the name of Garrick Stonetooth. He was exiled from their dwarven kingdom, and the group has agreed to not only bring him back home, but try to convince the kingdom of dwarves potentially to maybe allow them to have the prototype ship, or maybe make something, or buy or rent a ship, or, you know, just anything that can be done by bringing him back here. So yes, you guys, as you are traveling along, find yourselves sort of on the edge of the town of Elora. Let's go with that.
Now I remember, just to make sure that she does not trouble people, I remember specifically that Floop became a corgi for this place.
Yes. You guys are still like a good, like, you're on the edge of some fields. You're not in the town proper yet, but the path does continue sort of in between some of the fields and then through the town before getting to the Dwarven Kingdom. At this point, no one has seen you. When last we left off, there were some sort of farm workers like far off in the field, but there's no way they'd be able to see that you're non-humans or non-empire races from this distance. Floop, the little frog person druid, turned themselves into a corgi for the sake of staying in disguise. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Zax will pull up his hood of Elvenkind to make himself less visible.
Okay.
I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
Vrail is
The crazy
shapeshifted. So, since the incident.
The incident.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Vrail is sort of shapeshifted down into the Yuan-Ti pureblood form, so much more human in stature and physiology.
Keeper is wearing his hooded cloak, trademark hooded cloak and mask to conceal his.
Fuck
What he
yeah.
looks like.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. I'm just looking for like town music that's not from some of the other shit I
Yeah.
used to run. There we go. So we'll use that.
There we go. I was gonna be like, play some Zelda.
Yeah, I got
Zelda's
tons
got
of
some
fucking
great
Zelda.
town music.
I got Shadow of the Colossus in here. I got Total War Warhammer.
Fantastic.
Fucking
Uh,
stoked.
I suppose, I guess Cyace's just kind of like, I'm assuming she's wearing a cloak, she's got a hood, she just kind of puts her hood up and hopes that no one sees. Is she a ghost lady?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, a lot of the clothing that you normally have is sort of part of your ghostly, ephemeral form. But you do also possess, like, other things like cloaks and whatnot that you could attempt to, like, put over top and sort of obscure people's vision to that. But yeah, as you guys are standing at the edge of the town there, sorry, Garrick turns to the party, looking a bit sort of anxious, and he goes, "Right, did we want to maybe do what we did before with the manacles and whatnot, or do we think we can just walk this one through?"
We can't go around?
And he,
Do we need to be here?
yeah, like looking around the edge, Garrick also sort of like scans the horizon and goes, "Aye, we could walk around, I suppose.
Might be safer.
Aye.
Do we have any purpose for this place?
Well, the main road goes through here and then into Vergacol proper, up next to the mountain, but we could walk around the edge of the fields on this side. Should be fine."
I'm going to take a moment and open up the trunk of my spider mech and judge to see whether or not I would fit inside of it.
I could just throw my cloak over you on your mech.
Yeah,
It's a big cloak.
looking through the trunk, you think that if you like scrooch, that you could probably fit in there.
Okay, I might not be able to like lock the trunk closed, but
Yeah,
I
probably don't lock
fit.
yourself in a trunk. probably don't do that.
Oh no, I don't have the key.
Yeah.
What are we
Just-
gonna do?
Better just chuck it in a river. Don't need it anymore.
So we've made a mistake. I have forgot the keys.
I have
They're
locked
here with me.
They're in here.
That would be a goblin artificer. honestly.
All right, now where are the keys? Just cut to like a set of keys left on a table back at Bromo Nubs' place.
Like, ooh, no. Oh,
Again,
God. Yeah, you think if you scrooge down, you can fit inside.
Okay, plans for later.
Do we have any reason to be in this town?
Well, as it is, I think if we go around, if we're walking along the sides of people's fields and whatnot, they might mistake us for potential bandits or something. If we just mind our business and walk through the town, people might pay us no mind, but there's more eyes in town than there are farmers on the edges of their fields, so that'd be up to you.
If we're walking through town, I'm going to be inside this.
Aye.
He just pats the spider mount.
I look at Cyaces and Zax. Do either of you have illusion magic to like change your form?
Nope.
That is a good question. I have minor illusion.
Ah. That one
Not
sadly
great.
does not move unless you're
No, it does not.
unless you've got specific skills around it. Yeah, that one's gonna
Nope.
that one's gonna be a challenge.
That one's no good.
You don't have like any like magic disguises or anything like that?
Isn't that funny that... No, I don't.
It is not funny that you don't.
No.
It is-
I agree.
Yeah, you have like a lot of very cool spells on your sheet, but unfortunately
Sure do.
there's not any
Do-
personal
Nope.
illusions.
Nope.
What do Cyaces and Keepers cloaks look like?
Well, that would depend an awful lot on the type of cloak that they have, but very usually it's like a hood and a cloak that comes around the shoulders and can be sort of held shut in front of them.
Yeah.
So the most someone would see is like your feet.
Right, no. I mean, like, do they look the same? Are they both, like, plain black or one color cloaks? Or are they, like, fancy or whatnot? That's more of a Cyaces and Keeper question.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keepers is very plain black fabric with a hood that like a kind of one of those big baggy hoods that like has a lot of folds and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's real
And
drapey.
otherwise- Yeah, real drapey. And it's so that he can move in it unobstructed. And it's held together in the front with some easy simple clasp.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any. Like it's the plain baggy hooded cloak that you could think of. There's really nothing special about it.
Yeah. Similarly, Cyaces' cloak is also fairly plain, except that it's made from a very lovely, like, navy velvet. But other than that, like, very simple, with a hood, long. It's just, it is simple, it's just made of a nice fabric.
Okay. My idea is that me, a human sorcerer of a gold dragon, Floop, my dog companion, Keeper and Cyaces, silent monks, one who lost their mask, and does not wish to show their face, and my mechanical luggage, I guess. I don't know exactly what this does, but my luggage comes with me through this town out to the other side with my dwarf friend Tavrogakal.
I do not have a problem with this.
Yeah, Garrick kind of like nods, stroking his beard a bit, and goes, "Aye, that could work."
Corgi Floop just waggles her butt.
Just happy to
I'm
be here,
gonna-
really.
I'm gonna try and get comfortable as Zax like pops open the trunk and like starts huddling himself inside of it.
Fucking, yeah, you pop that bad boy open and start scrooching down inside the trunk.
I know it's not comfortable for me either.
It like but gives its butt like a little bit of a wiggle in protest, but like all in all eventually allows you to climb in.
Spider butt wiggle. Like,
Yeah, it just like wiggles at
Aw.
the little like sort of mule or pony sized like spider mech that you've been riding is a little not terribly thrilled that this is happening, but you know, understands at least to some degree that it's necessary.
There is another option. I
Aye.
can give my mask to Cyaces and leave my cloak with you, and I can attempt to follow behind at a distance, remaining hidden. The buildings do not look too tall. I can leap up on top easily. It should only take me a matter of seconds to get through the rest of the city anyways, so...
It's not very big, but like Vrail like looks up at the roofs like, what? And then remembers, and then goes, "What do you think, Cyaces?"
Well, okay. Out of character question. How big is this mask? Is Cyaces actually gonna be able to use it?
It would be pretty big, and I don't think the eye holes would be in the right position, considering my...
Hilarious.
'Cause it's
like, you
for
can put it on...
It's gonna like
Yeah,
bump
like-
into shit. I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's do it.
Cyaces might be able to ride in the Spider-Man mount while I'm in the butt.
True?
Well, then I also wouldn't need to discuss it that it's my luggage either.
Two birds with one stone.
That is fair.
It assumes ownership.
So Cyaces, kind of says, well, if Keeper is confident that he will be able to, move around unnoticed, I think that could work. Yes?
Okay.
Beaver takes off his mask, his like large white mask, and hands it to Scythe. The mask is shaped like the little icon I have down.
Yeah.
on the-
Yeah, it's like a little, almost like a white mask.
Be
Actually, you
real,
know
from
what? I don't I don't have those plates on presently, but let's go
I think
over
you could just
here.
click on the bottom. Oh yeah, no, it's a setting.
Yeah, if I
Yeah,
go
I always have
to
them up,
large,
so I
yeah, this
forgot.
face right here, that's what it looks like. It's very cool.
I love it.
There's everybody's
I always
characters.
have these little I always have these little plates up so that people at home can see the characters.
Little faces. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep that up.
It reminds me to cross my arms a lot.
Gotta fold your arms like a whole bunch.
Like a whole bunch.
Yeah, like a lot. Like a concerning amount.
Like
Like
a
a
concerning
fucking
amount.
pile.
And I found Corgi Floop.
Yeah. We have it. Oh, yes. I'm going to absolutely open that shit up. I'm going to go over to our thing here just so that people could see what we're talking about. There she is. It's Floop. There's a corgi.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, very notably, I think I see an uncropped tail. So bravo, very nice.
Yeah.
Yay!
So
Yay.
good. Fuck
Keeper
yeah.
Very
will.
good.
Keeper removes his cloak and starts folding it up. Anyone who wishes to wear this may wear the cloak. He kind of
I'm actually
offers the
gonna
folded
take off
fabric.
my cloak.
Pardon?
I'm gonna take off my cloak.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
People going cloakless up in here.
People getting all cloakless up in
I
this
didn't know it
business.
was that kind of stream.
Cyaces takes Keeper's mask and attempts to put it on her face. How does it fit?
It fit like. How does it fit? Like,
Yeah, Doc, how is it looking on Cyaces? Is it weirdly placed? Like,
Yeah, it's on there. Like the mask definitely like fits your head, but due to its size and like the shape of it, like you're able to get it on and it's fine. And when you have your hood up, you're completely occluded, with the exception of like maybe your feet. At that juncture, you really can only see out of one of the eye holes at a time due to their position. It's a little wide for your head, but you can
Yeah.
absolutely see out of one of the holes because it's very big. Definitely intended for
Okay.
larger eyes that are a little further apart. Your more human features, you can definitely still see really well out of one of them.
okay. So Cyaces kind of like fumbles with the getting the mask placement in a place where it's comfortable, and she says, Yes, maybe it would be best if I take the mount. 'Cause I don't know if I'm going to be very coordinated walking around if I can only see through one eye hole.
Alright, and then we're down to 3 visible individuals, of which I am drawing the most attention away from the people who are trying to occlude their features.
Yeah, it's like a UNT pureblood, and then a corgi, and a person riding in a mech. Zax being in the trunk, and Keeper, sliding along the roofs and such.
Nimbly bimbly.
A deception check towards being a human that is a gold dragon tainted sorcerer.
Hell yeah.
Bullshit.
That Keeper does like a little hand signal, and his carapace, his chitinous carapace, begins to shift in color to match his surroundings.
All right, perfect. As you make your way along, so now you guys have got that. Actually, as you're climbing up into the mount, Cyaces, the mount sort of chirps happily as you're getting in. It seems to be very pleased with this sort of turn of events.
I give it a nice little pat. A happy little pat. Hello, friend.
It just starts like randomly talking to you, attempting to have conversation.
Cyaces does that thing where, you know how humans, they talk to their pets and, like the cat just meows and you're like, uh-huh.
They're like, uh-huh.
Oh, really? Wow. I can't believe it. And then what?
Yeah, and you I'm gonna say like give me roll me persuasion.
Yeah. Oh, where is the thing? Oh, it's over here, right? Okay, hang on. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, I can't see what my passive deception is. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
60.
never
That's awesome. So there is quite a while of of you talking to the mount. It just like happily just continues to chirp along with you as you continue to go along. It's super adorable. But yeah.
Robo Spider, mechanical chirping. Players, I regret being unable to speak math.
I regret. This is. Oh, hey, Miss Edgy, come on in. Get comfy. Yeah, so you guys are on the edge of the town. You've climbed into the spider mech. It is very happy to have you along. Zax, you are in the trunk. Zax, roll me, I'm going to say, on an intelligence check.
Intelligence.
Yeah, Arcanum. If you
Oh,
want.
Arcana or intelligence?
Roll me Arcana. Because that's the normal check you do for your stuff. Sweet, you don't lock yourself in the trunk.
Very important.
It's a low DC, but I wanted to I wanted to throw that on the table anyway, just to see if that accidentally happens. Like as you're getting in, like you see the mechanism that there is a mechanism to latch it shut and then to lock it, and those are two separate things. And yeah, you get in and latch it shut, so it's clicked and you're good. With the way that the spider mech is running, like you're not going to be running out of air. You can tell from in here for like a long while. So you should be fine.
I give a thumbs up to my little homunculus servant on my shoulder.
It gives you like a little mechanical thumbs up, like a little A-OK like sign to you. And yeah, do you guys start heading in?
Yes.
All right. Keeper, you are going to be, I assuming, with your Thri-Kreen, your bug-like form, using that as like a camouflage to sneak up to the buildings and then like leap up and start sort of going across the rooftops and such, yes?
Exactly. Yeah, Keeper's gonna be like ninjing across the rooftops, like trying to remain unseen, like hiding behind any like chimneys or those little window protrusions. I don't know what they're called. You know, trying to say like using his mind to like try and remain hidden, but keep
Absolutely.
the party in sight.
Okay, awesome. So to start, as you guys are approaching the town, there's like a lot of like farm fields and like almost, waist high stone walls and stuff like that as you guys approach. The buildings that you see in the distance are like a mixture of sort of human and dwarven make. That there's from like the towns and stuff that you've seen, at least from a distance, and some of you, especially Saises, like you recognize some of the architecture, but the dwarven architecture is definitely a lot blockier and more robust. There's no wood used in their construction almost at all. And as you guys approach, Keeper, I want you to roll me a stealth with advantage.
Wonderful. All right.
Because you are using your bug-like form. Dope. Okay, so 18. You get low, your carapace immediately just, like, turns into the same color as the wheat, and you fucking vanish into a field. If the party wants to try and, like, actively keep an eye on him, you can, but, like, passively, just about everyone except for Vrail, like, just loses visual on him pretty much immediately.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, never mind. Yeah, no, I see him.
You said that he got low, and I couldn't not think apple-bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Get
Now
low!
somebody has to draw a button. Now somebody has to draw a Keeper in that.
Hell yeah.
If I back it up, is it fast enough?
Well, we'll see if it comes to that.
I don't know, it's Keeper, so yes, probably.
Probably?
It's probably too fast.
So fast.
Extremely
Lord.
fast.
Your movement is like
Concerningly
60 or
fast.
something, isn't it? Didn't it get
can be, I
higher
think.
recently?
I think so. Like, it's ridiculous. It's dumb.
It's
like,
some
I
insane.
don't
Yeah,
wanna
it's
talk about
65. He's
Very fast.
He's got an average movement of 65 per thing. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Mr.
And I
Magic,
can use
thank
it.
you so much.
And I can use a key point to dash, like so basically double my speed.
I'm pretty sure you could
Triple,
run
because
through
you
this
can then
town
also-
without stealthing, and people would still not see you as
like,
you are
If you use
so
a key
fast.
point, if you use a key point to bonus action dash, you could also then take dash as an action.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
That's 100, so that's moving 260 feet in 6 seconds.
Yes. So yes, if he backs it up, it is fast enough at least.
Minimum fast enough. Yeah, Keeper.
God, we
Want to
had
see
this
me run through this city? Want to see me do it again? God damn it.
Do a backflip.
Yeah, do a flip. Oh my god. So, as you guys start approaching the buildings, sort of like getting past some of the farmhouses and stuff like that, walking along, I'm going to say, Vrail, what would you like to use as your role in terms of deception to make your sort of Yuan-Ti pureblood form come across as more of a, like, golden dragon sorcerer?
Performance.
Performance. Roll me a performance check.
Oh, come
Shit,
on.
son. That's a 19.
Yep.
Yeah, as you're coming along, like you're approaching the town, there's a the odd farmer and stuff like that in the field. You see mostly humans, but occasionally you see like a dwarf kind of standing out in the field, and like most of them just kind of see you from a distance and are like, okay, and then they go back to work. Like they don't seem to. Some people stare because they don't obviously. Yeah,
I am
like
in blazing gold armor with a sword and
yeah,
shield.
like you're wearing this fucking ostentatious as fuck, like golden emperor
And I have-
armor.
And I have a magically floating shield floating around me as
Yeah.
well.
Do you have that on? Like, do you activate that? Yeah, sure. You know what? I'm gonna say that performance then goes up to 24. I'm gonna take that that 24 that you've got there for your with advantage, just because like you're absolutely playing this up.
Just extra as all hell.
Yeah, just extra as fuck as you guys are
That's why I
entering into the
took off
town.
the cloak.
As you guys get into the town, I'm gonna say, Keeper, roll me your athletics or acrobatics, you choose, with advantage.
Oh, nice.
Exodus.
23. Yeah, you, like, as you sneak up to one of the taller buildings, just like you're up on top of one of the rooftops, and you like immediately shift your carapace to that color to like crawl over and then start leaping to the next building and to the next building. So there's no problems there, which is fantastic. As you guys are making your way through the sort of center of town, the market that is there. Do I have a busier sounding market? I do not. That's fine. As you guys are making your way through to sort of like the center of town, like there's like maybe 2-3 kiosks of people selling different produce and whatnot. You do get the idea that a lot of the produce that's produced here is shipped to other parts of the empire, if not just straight to the empire's core. And as you're going along, again, the odd person like is kind of. They linger when they stare at your group a bit. Almost all eyes are falling on Vrail as you guys are walking along, which is fantastic. You're just about to get out of the center of town, sort of like the central area where the path comes in, and then you can see the road that goes up towards the mountains. You can see the Dwarven Kingdom of Rugakal in the distance. You are approached by a man in a tall hat. He is wearing sort of like a semi-long leather trench coat. He's got a lot of belts and stuff on him. You can see that he has a pretty severe-looking rapier at his side, and a very aggressive scar on one side of his face. This gentleman approaches you guys and raises his hand. Stop there!
Oh God.
Oh no, I already hate him.
I was waiting for Warden to pick up on who this is.
Oh,
I don't know who this is, but I already have deep concerns.
Yeah.
Is he in front of me?
Yeah, he absolutely steps in front of your group and puts up his hand. The dwarf that's in your party that's traveling with you, Garrick, he immediately stops and remains silent. Vrail, you are pretty much the only visible person standing there with him. If you or Cyaces or even Floop, if you guys want to roll a insight on him, you may.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, let me try.
Okay, so he is directly in front of me.
Yes.
Okay. And he has
Mr. Classic
his hand
Magic.
up.
Bail! Bail!
No. It wouldn't have been a bail. It would have been a keep walking.
Yeah. No, like he definitely like steps into your path to like specifically stop you.
And he has his hand up.
Yeah,
like-
and he's got like his one hand up to stop. Floop, with your insight, you catch on that Garrick is definitely very anxious about the presence of this individual. Cyaces looks just like Garrick's being quiet. letting other people talk.
Floop will just waddle towards Garrick and lick his fingers with a few whines, like, "Are you okay?"
He like gives, without looking down at you, gives your head like a little pat, in such a way that's like, "Thank you, but you need to be quiet." That's like it's very much a like thanks but shush kind of pat on the head. Like you can see he does not take his eyes off this individual. In the middle of the street, you see this guy, and he says, like, "You will state your business in the name of the Empire."
In Draconic, I say passing through.
Ooh, fuck. Roll me persuasion with disadvantage.
Ooh.
Well, there you go. Oh no, that's performance.
That's performance.
Persuasion. There, it's one away.
There's
Oh,
10.
there you go.
A little bit better.
The one remaining good eye that he has, he narrows towards your party, and he says, "State your business in common, outsider."
In common, I say passing through. Like just staring at him, like unblinkingly.
To where?
Considering all like my like AoE shit and like all my background crap and all that stuff, it's pretty intimidating regardless of what I look like.
Oh yeah, what's everybody's passive perception right now?
18.
Okay.
I'm locked in a trunk.
You're in a trunk. Keeper, you're up on the roof. What's
My passive
your
perception?
Yeah.
17.
17. Okay. Vrail is what? 18, 19?
18.
18.
I don't know what the passive perception of a dog is.
Oh, the you're
that's
wild
fair.
shaped though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
it'd
would
be
still
yours.
be your passive perception. Your wisdom doesn't change.
Oh, okay.
Unless you were smelling stuff.
Yeah, unless you have like you get
And
advantage
that
on
was,
smell
but
and stuff.
then that's not passive either.
No.
So what's your passive perception?
I'm trying to find it.
It
Here,
should
let me
be
help you out there.
Directly under your.
It's
your
like
stat.
it's 10 plus your wisdom modifier if you're not sure what it is, so yours would be 13. So I'm gonna say Keeper and Vrail. You guys absolutely notice that a lot of people in the street have stopped, and a lot of them have moved away from you guys. Like they've moved away and they've sort of created a bit of a circle. A circle that's like
15
maybe
for my passive perception, by the
15
way.
for yours? Okay, so you also notice this. And it's like the nearest person to your group and this individual is like maybe 50 feet from you.
Okay. If everybody is paying attention to them, could I try and leap across the rooftop to try and sort of behind this guy, like
Yeah.
onto a building in
Extra
his rear?
Like get in his blind spot kind of situation.
Yeah, like everybody's focused on these guys.
Yeah.
On the
So,
gold
I'm
beacon
gonna
and
try
all
and-
around
yeah,
it.
I'm gonna try and
You still have like a 23 in acrobatics. I'm going to say if you want to roll another stealth with advantage, because I can't give you double advantage.
Double.
15. Yeah. So you sort of like sneak over and then just like you like leap and land on a rooftop that's behind him. But the roof that you leapt off of, a single like stone shingle comes loose and slides off, clattering into the street. Nobody in the street seems to notice, except for this person who's standing here talking to you guys. His one good eye briefly darts to that spot and then looks back to Vrail. It's a good thing you had advantage. That was a natural one.
I do it so well. Ninja. Slips and falls off the roof. Like,
Ninja,
Yeah.
whoops.
All of
Crashes
the
it.
grenades that have appeared in his pocket go off.
just leaps, crashes right into the rooftop fruit cart.
It's like, what the fuck is a fruit cart doing up here?
Where all these melons come from? What the fuck?
There's a couple of guys on the roof that he lands on that are pulling a pane of glass by.
It just happens to be like an attraction. Yeah, this town is famous for its rooftop fruit stands.
Yes. You know,
Oh my
Laura.
God.
Rooftop fruit.
I love that Mr. Classic Magic made reference to the cabbages guy because that's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
My cabbages!
That's what I was saying the whole time.
So yeah, the individual who's here interrogating you guys asks, "Where are you coming from?"
That's none of your business.
All is the business of witch hunters. And he takes a step, sort of leaning to his left, your right, Vrail, and looks past you specifically at Siaces sitting in the mech. What is your business?
My business is to use the main road to get through your this small town. If you wish, I will go around if we will not be waylaid when we do so.
Your business is highly suspicious. I would like to know more. He takes another step closer to you and gives you like a very close regard. He says, "Where are you heading to?"
Vrogakal.
Roll me if you want like a persuasion. Oh, fuck yeah.
Hey, let's go.
So you say that, and he takes half a step away from you again, looking at you. If you want, you can roll an insight. 19. Something about your business in Vrogakal does not give him something to stand on.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you're going
away.
to the Dwarven Kingdom kind of makes it so that like he might not be allowed to know what you guys are doing. But he does continue to stand there. A lot of the people that are in the street are maintaining their distance. It appears, especially with an insight like 19, it looks like these people are very fearful.
I lean in a little bit and say, "So if you'll excuse us," and then lean back and start trying to walk again.
I have not dismissed you. And he places his left hand upon the hilt of his rapier. I'm gonna roll a thing real quick just for your boy that's traveling with you. Dope. Okay. Oh wait, no,
I
sorry.
continue
He has
to
a character
take my
sheet.
step.
Where is Garrick's sheet? There it is. Come here, Garrick. Gotta move you over here. Let's do you a wisdom save. I think that's
better.
that works. There we go.
From fear.
Effectively, like to see if he
Yeah.
can speak in his current state. As you guys are like, you know, going to move, he steps again, like moves to step into your path and places his other hand to draw his rapier. In that moment, Garrick fucking explodes with volume all of a sudden. And he goes, "Mind your business!" And sort of like a lot of like the human who's standing there looking at you like sort of freezes and his eyes look down at Garrick and he goes, "Dowie business is not the realm of Umgi kingdoms and laws." To which he responds, "So long as you're within our empire, your business is my business." "Not in this town. Not here. This is neutral." And he points a finger at the ground in front of him. In this, one of the dwarves who's amongst the townsfolk in the distance goes, "Yeah!" And a couple of people are like, "Yeah,
Thanks,
and
Steve.
yeah,
I would like to palm something out of a like out of my pocket.
Yeah. What are you looking to do?
I just I would like to sneakily have my portable hole in my hand.
You're gonna like fucking bag this guy if he gets in the way. That's amazing. Yeah. Roll me sleight of hand.
Fuck.
Okay. From what you can tell, he doesn't notice because his one eye is like fixed on the dwarf. And he says, "We're heading to Vrogakol. Our business is our own, and you've no right to interrogate us as we walk about. Keep your ungi nose to your business." And he fucking points a finger up at that guy, and I'm gonna say that's an intimidate check for your boy.
Oh, can I assist?
To which he has, yeah. If you wanna, did you wanna give him an assist on that?
Yeah, I just want to kind of puff up, like kind of at him.
Yeah. So we'll say that that's with advantage. With a 17. The Inquisitor who's standing there in the street with you guys, like, just cold fucking look on his face, slowly removes his hand from his rapier, puts his hands at his sides, and steps off to one side to let you pass.
I was about to say, Floop will also help by, like, yapping and drawling angrily.
That's not gonna help. That's gonna give disadvantage on intimidation.
Yeah.
You're
fucking
cutting it up over here. Stop it.
None expects the throws a fucking sheet over him and he vanishes. Well,
That's exactly what I was gonna do.
yeah, just like maybe everybody in the town just kind of pretends they didn't see that, and everybody goes about their business. But yeah,
It was because of the second dwarf. I was planning on it, but then I was like, no, maybe I'm gonna get thrown in prison, and all these people who are watching are gonna, be a pain in the ass about it. But that one dwarf popping up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna prepare this.
yeah, just like get ready that if shit goes down, you'd be like, aha, and like fucking jump him.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, there's now like maybe 2 to 3 dwarves that are sort of amongst the people standing in the distance. They're like, "Hey, you keep your nose out of our business, you, with that." And to which the witch hunter like turns his head to face one of those people, and they're like, and they like fucking scooch backwards into the crowd so that they can't be seen. But in that moment, you do have the opportunity to walk if you guys want to continue.
I make a step to continue to walk, and then think back on it. And I go up to the witch hunter.
Okay.
And I say, "What's your name?"
He coldly turns his head to you in like a slow, measured fashion. Saltspire.
Saltspire. I will remember that. And then I turn and I start walking down the path.
Roll, what, like, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you because your
Intimidation.
passive perception is 18. Fucking Garrick is like hiding the biggest grin you've ever seen on his face. He's so proud of you, just like for saying that.
Trail will remember this.
Yeah, I'll remember
And
that.
like Vrail was putting on like that voice as well, like softer, a little bit more melodic, just to kind of add to a more comforting terror.
Yeah.
Like, why are you speaking to me in this manner kind of way?
Yeah. Just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you ain't got feet to stand on, and now everybody knows that. So, you also notice that, like, there are guards around this area, but none of them have, like, moved to intervene, and they are a mixture of, like, human and dwarf, and they all just appear to be standing their positions.
I got it.
Yeah.
I understand this town now.
Yeah, when
Like-
you say I'll remember that, Saltspire, as you guys turn to leave and walk away, says, "As will I," and then he turns and strides off in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I didn't get.
I
my
already
name.
hate him.
Fuck that guy.
Now, remembering that Floop can only stay as a dog for so long, I continue moving through the city to trying to get to the other side.
Yeah, as you
Kinda
guys
just
continue
myself.
moving along, eventually you do reach sort of the other side of the town. You see that coming down from the mountain and from the great entrance into the dwarven kingdom of Vargakal, that there's like a considerable amount of like, there's like a almost like a river that's flowing from the entrance of the kingdom that comes down into a series of like aqueducts and whatnot that feeds a lot of water into the fields themselves. Hence the farming community that's here. So yeah. You guys make your way away from the town. The sounds of the market and whatnot fade into the distance, and there is a crafted stone road that leads upwards towards the mountain, and you see the sort of the vast sort of entrance of the Dwarven Kingdom in the distance. I'm going to say, Keeper, give me another athletics as you continue, on athletics with advantage as you continue to move along. Or, sorry, acrobatics, because you were using acrobatics. 21.
Was that for advantage?
Oh yeah, no, you fucking just like hoppity skippity across those roofs like it ain't no thing. And then give me another stealth with advantage as you begin to blend back in. Oh, 19, sweet. So it doesn't look like anybody saw you as you like slip down back into some of the shrubbery and whatnot that's on the western side of the town. As you guys move away, you have the opportunity if you would like to rejoin your party, as there's not really anybody on this path.
Once we're decent enough, like out of eyesight from the edge of the town, I'll make my way back up, and I will rejoin.
Also, Vrail was like while walking through the town after that discussion or that inquisition even, she keeps an eye on like the people and stuff like that, and then also the infrastructure of such like kind of like just higher than shanty town, like to be fair.
Yeah,
like,
it's a farming community, so like a lot of the buildings that you see
Heavily
around the center
rustic.
of the town are very rustic. Yeah, like they're not fancy. You do notice that the further to the western side, the closer to the Dwarven Kingdom you get, the nicer the buildings get. Not necessarily bigger or more robust, but like the craftsmanship of the buildings appear to improve vastly, as like you can definitely visually identify these as dwarven homes. They're like stone blocks in a sense, that they don't have like the steepled roofing, and they don't have like almost any wood in their construction, and like the carving of the stone you see like around the doors and along like the roof's edges and stuff like that is incredibly well done. And you see like there's a couple of people sort of milling about as you go. One of the dwarves, as you're sort of reaching the edge of the town, sort of the edge of the main town area, kind of gives you like a silent nod in respect as you guys move along.
And Vrail gives them like a little smile, just a very faint smile, and like one of those like diagonal sideways nods.
Nice. Very anime. Like, but yeah, no, he like kind of, you see his nose turn red a little bit as he's like, and like gives like kind of scuffles off. But yeah, eventually you guys are heading out. Keeper rejoins your party, and you guys continue to make your way up to the entrance to the Dwarven Kingdom. There we go.
Also, if Warden wants French fries, he can come and get my Wendy's French fries.
Oh,
Noted.
Wemdies.
Yeah, I had
Got some of that Wendy's.
I love Wemdies.
As soon as it's
Come
stayed,
on.
Floop will go back to her original form.
And once Keeper rejoins the party, he will resume it. He will shift his carapace back to its natural emerald green.
Dope.
Oh, but just before going back to her normal form, she will just probably run into like a bunch of very high grass and jump out of it left and right,
Yes. Yes.
super happily.
Fuck yeah. For some reason, this image is not loading appropriately for our.
Yeah, it's black for me.
Yeah, is it black for everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yes.
for some reason, this is not loading.
Re-upload the picture.
Well, it's working for mine, but for some reason it's not. Oh, you know what? No, that is map layer. Let's try moving that to token layer.
No.
Nope.
Nice.
Move it back to map layer. Yeah, it's not showing for some reason.
I'm gonna just hit the old F.
Yeah, because I tried reloading the thing and for some reason it's not working.
I'm gonna try the old
Back to
F-
front. To front, please. To back
Phoenix
and then
suggests
to
that
front
it's
again.
fog of war.
Oh god, fucking ugh. It might be. Let me check. Oh yeah, dynamic lighting.
Still
Let's turn
black.
that off.
There
There it
it
is.
is.
There it
There we
is.
go. For some reason, dynamic
Yay.
lighting was on for that. I don't know why that happened, and now I'm nervous and I'm checking all the others. They're not. Okay, good. I was like, I don't know why this happened, but okay. So,
Thank you, Phoenix.
thank you, Phoenix, so much for that.
Yay.
My god, I would not have caught that myself. Good.
Also, thank you, Gooey Cube, for the picture.
Yeah.
thank you.
Anytime I'm pulling this art down, if I catch like that it's got a signature or something like that on it, then I will 100% put that in there. Let's see if I've got something that works. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, not from that list. Let's go down into here.
That's just the list you just gotta hit delete on, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, approaching the exterior of the Dwarven Kingdom, you see that sort of like huge mountain spring of water flowing forth from the gates of Ralgakal, going down into the sort of aqueducts and whatnot that feed the fields of the farming neighborhood of Alora. As you guys are walking along, there is occasionally like a heavily armored dwarven guard that is standing somewhere, either on one side of the stairs or sort of like in key areas. They don't seem to pay you guys any mind as you move your way past. On the odd occasion, you see Garrick in your party kind of give a nod to one of them, and they nod back.
Zax will pop open the trunk a little bit and sort of whisper out to Syces, who's probably still in the spider mech.
Yep.
Is it safe to come out?
Is it safe?
Is it secret?
I will knock on the roof of the trunk when it is safe. As
Thank
of
you.
yet, I'm not sure.
Keeper will replace his cloak and mask when
Yeah. Oh,
they
Syces,
approach.
before giving back Keeper his mask, she like takes her cloak and kind of like wipes the inside of it. She was very nervous as that was happening, and might have been
she
a little
sweat.
swety.
Could have got ghost sweat on it.
little ghost sweat.
Ectoplasm.
Getting a little ghost sweat in there.
She plasmed all over it.
Yeah.
Now,
She goes to wipe it off, and fucking Keeper's like, no, leave it.
That's
Hey,
not
you
weird
usually
at
have
all.
to pay money. You usually have to pay for this kind of thing. So.
Yeah. I know that Kara, I know that emoji is supposed to be a ghost sticking out its tongue, but it just looks like a ghost with a sideways mouth, kind of. Like sideways kissy lips.
A little bit.
But yeah,
I would have liked to have been my big snake form again.
Okay.
Approaching this place.
yeah, as you transform back into your abomination form, your larger, more snake-like stature, again, a lot of the dwarves that you guys are seeing appear to pay you no mind.
Yeah.
They don't seem to react to you guys at all as you approach. Syces, though, as you guys are approaching, Syces does not have the mask, but Keeper, you are wearing your cloak and mask, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, it seems fine. Like, nobody seems to react as you guys are rolling up, and you get to the front gate, and you see Garrick kind of shift his stance a little bit, and one of the guards sort of like lets out a sigh and shakes his head and goes, Garrick, what are you doing? And Garrick kind of goes, hello there, Runehelm. I've returned to challenge my exile.
Do I hear this in the trunk?
You do, yeah, from within the trunk.
I'm gonna like bap the top of the trunk from inside.
Everybody else hears like this distant from the inside of the car.
Keeper looks at it but doesn't say anything. Just kind of like turns his head back.
You see, as that happens, Syces kind of like jumps, startled a little bit, like, oh!
Hey, oh fuck! I didn't know it did that. Oh god.
Now that I look at the picture, Floop will 100% go next to the falls and look for new types of moss.
Oh yeah.
Moss.
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. Roll me either a nature or a survival.
Okay,
I'm
let me go
standing
my.
with Garrick.
We'll resolve this real quick and then we'll get back to the party because we're away from the river a good ways. 19. You find some moss that you've never seen before. That is along the side of this river. You see some like it's got like a really deep dark green to it. And as you sort of peel it off the side of a stone and look it over and kind of give it a quick cursory examination, you can tell that it's definitely very robust, like very strong, that the water that's flowing out of the mountain appears to be sort of informing its growth and the strength of it.
We did it. Surface moss.
We did it. At this point,
Alright,
Floop has
campaign
like
over,
a number of mosses
But it
from
had to
different
be
surface
alive.
locations. But yeah, put into your inventory dwarven moss.
Zax is gonna get fed up with
gonna
being in an enclosed space.
She's gonna grab 2 portions, one for her and the boys, and one for the creepy moss lady of the village.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, so you can write down, I'm gonna say like 2 or 3 amounts of this dwarven moss. It has a beard somehow. This is Mr. Classic Magic. As you when do you pop out of the trunk exactly, Zax? Is it while
So-
they're talking at the gate?
Yes, while they're talking at the gate, I'm getting fed up with being in here, so I'm just gonna pop the trunk out and like take a big breath of fresh air. Stretch my arms and hop out of the butt.
I've come to challenge my exile.
Oh, see, oh my god. I'm picturing something like from the second Ace Ventura movie with the rhino.
Yes. Oh my god.
Out of a spider mech butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the fucking like sweating, just like stumbles out onto the ground. The one dwarven guard that he's been talking to doesn't seem to react very much. Just kind of raises his eyebrows, watching Zax just tumble out onto the
Stumble
stone.
out and like I'm using my cloak to like fan myself.
Yeah, and he goes, "So you returned to challenge your exile, and you've brought with you, amongst others, a Groby." To which he goes, "Aye." Just kind of like
Yeah.
almost embarrassed, continues to stand there, just like fucking.
As Zax get off, Floop is like, "Hi, Zax, I forgot you were there."
Oh yeah, we
Great.
forgot about you.
Great, thanks.
At that point, then he sort of like tilts his head to one side and gives a shrug and goes, "All right, likely to be your funeral, but you may challenge as you wish. He turns and like nods to the other guard. The two of them take these like massive sort of two-handed great hammers, placing them head down. They both bang them against the ground at the same time. The gates to the kingdom itself begin to open. Marching out from the gate is a contingent of dwarves, all dressed in like heavy plate. The ones in the front are carrying large shields and axes, and the ones behind them are carrying these two-handed hammers. They've all got like varying degrees of beards that are all woven and braided in different manners. Some of them have some very striking sort of like golden clamps and rings and whatnot built in. As they approach, the one that's in the front gives a nod to Garrick. He gives a nod back, turns to the rest of the party and says, "Right, so they're going to bring us in, and we'll be placed into holding until we can take our case before the king."
Keeper nods silently.
Zax gives 3 thumbs up, one with the homunculus.
You 2 thumbs and the 1 robot arm in the back, like, gives a thumb. So yeah, you guys then begin
Luke
making
will
your way in.
Once she will just say, well, once we're in holding, I might need water from my bucket.
I can get you. We've got the alchemy jug. I can get you water.
Oh, great!
Dwarven Moss, it has an axe and is a professional metal worker. Thanks, mercenary. But yeah, you guys follow these troops in through the great door as they turn marching, bringing you now into the kingdom itself. As you guys enter sort of on this like mid-level balcony, you see that the kingdom of Rogakal spans in a tremendous distance in both up and down and then further in. There are a number of sort of waterfalls and flows of what appears to be either lava or perhaps molten metal moving through the city itself. The buildings and streets go both downwards along the inside of this colossal fucking cavern, as well as up along the walls and in some cases along the roof, making its way. The contingent of troops brings you in, and eventually, as you guys continue to travel through the interior of the kingdom, brings you to sort of like a holding area, which is, truth be told, actually quite nice. Yeah. That is actually from Dragon Age.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I recognize it.
Yeah, I was like, I want to find something that's not just fucking Ironforge.
Not just Ironforge.
Yeah. I was like, I want to find something
Not
that's not just
Iron-
fucking Ironforge.
Not Ironforge and not from, like, Warhammer. Because those are the only 2 things that I can
Oh, I
find
know.
on, like, images about
Yeah, but
dwarves
at least the
ever.
Warhammer ones aren't as like immediately recognizable. They're just kind of like fantasy dwarven place. Ironforge is very, very specifically Ironforge. It is a
Yeah.
very popular,
Anyway.
immediately identifiable location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys are brought in eventually to this like sort of holding area, and from there, the troops kind of like give you a nod and they make their way off. There is still a contingent of, I'm going to say about 6 guards standing in the area. There is the ability for them to shut a sort of like gated door and have you guys in a large cell, but they leave it open. And yeah, after a while, and I'm just trying to get his picture here, there is a fellow who comes to meet you guys.
During the downtime in waiting, Zax is going to take out some of his artisan tools and start tinkering with some of his gear. Just basic maintaining it.
Just like maintenance. Yeah, okay. Cool. I'm gonna move. Actually, no. We're just gonna stay. We're gonna stay here. After some time, eventually, there's like maybe 10 minutes or so. What what you could only describe as perhaps a dignitary of the dwarven people eventually sort of stumbles his way along into the room. He's a dwarf that's got like a bit of a belly on him. He's wearing sort of fancier clothes than the rest of the dwarves that are around him, but not necessarily very well put together. In the sense that like he looks a little fancy for a dwarf. He's not wearing heavy armor. He's still got like metal bracers on. His beard has like a few golden braids and whatnot, or like sort of like clamps and whatnot through it, and he's bald on the top of his head. He's not wearing any helmet or anything else. And he sort of like trundles his way into the room, and upon seeing you guys, he smiles and sort of nods and goes, "Ah, welcome! Right, so..." And this guy makes his way up to the group. He has an axe, but it's on his back.
Yeah.
Right then, so, I'd imagine it's you who's asking about their exile then, eh? And he looks over to Garrick. Garrick gives him a nod back. Oh, good, Floop's back. And he goes, right, so, the king will be seeing you for your requests and whatnot, but he'll be doing so, it seems, early tomorrow morning, if that's agreeable to the folks that are present. And he looks around to the group.
Zax raises his hand. Question: we might need 2 things for it.
Yes, Groby, what's it?
We need. I'll explain, Garrick, after. I'm gonna need a small metal wash bin and a pool of water big enough that it would fit the wash bin in it.
I suppose so, Groby. That's something that we can get. No, your accommodations, your group, will be moved to a different area. Whereas Garrick here, and he points at Garrick, will be staying in this cell. Whereas the rest of you are free, if you would like, to walk about the kingdom, though you will be under supervision of yours truly. And he sort of pats himself on the belly.
Keeper raises his hand.
Aye?
Where can one go to get a good, stiff drink?
And he, your hand is exposed in this moment. Is that right?
Yep.
He sort of like looks at your hand, and pauses for a moment. I don't know if anybody wants to do an insight on that, but
check.
he's like
I can finally do it because I can finally see people.
yeah. Anybody
Oh, no.
who's present, yeah, he's just having a weird quiet spot to rail. Keeper Siaces. Floop, there's no moss in here. It's so weird. Zax with a 19. So, Siaces and Keeper to a little bit of a lesser extent, but Zax, you're kind of picking up on this. He appears to recognize Keeper. And isn't sure if he should say anything about that or if it's his place to do so.
Ooh.
And like he freezes
good
for
or
like a
bad?
good like 3 to 4 whole ass seconds before kind of like forcing his way into the next words. He goes, "Aye, there's more than a few taverns round here. There's a few of our brew houses I'm sure would be happy to take coin in exchange for many of the wonderful ales that we make here."
Was that an uncomfortable pause?
A little bit.
Like negative or positive?
Like it's definitely neutral. You're definitely
okay.
getting like it's neutral, leaning towards positive. Like he definitely wanted to say something, but wasn't sure if it was his place to do so politically. It was definitely an awkward pause, but it's not Justin Trudeau awkward long. Like it's not it's not 20-something seconds of just silence of God, I wish I could call this guy a racist, but I just can't do that.
Vrail speaks up. I don't know how to say it now. I don't know how to say this. I was just trying to, with Garrick's rooming, is there any room for my authority, as I am the leader of my kingdom?
He like it raised both of his eyebrows and goes, "Oh goodness. We could certainly put you. Perhaps we could find some nicer accommodations if you give us a bit of time to see what we have available."
I understand that your people need to have him under close observation and even maybe in a locked room.
Aye.
But if you could make his accommodations easier than just a plain cell, I would be appreciative.
He takes a moment stroking his beard, thinking about that, and he goes, "Well, seeing as you're taking responsibility for him, and as that we'd like to, obviously show a kindness towards those that would honorably challenge their exile and whatnot, I would say then, well, I'll make you no promises, but I will try. I've got my word on that."
Respectable.
Good. And he sort of claps his hands together. It's fucking meaty, calloused paws. And it says, "Right, so, if you like a drink, we can definitely make you out to that, and I'll see if I can send word for a change of accommodations for Garrick here. Does that sound good?"
Yes.
Zax turns to Garrick. Are you good?
He quietly gives you guys a nod.
Heber quiet, yeah. Heber nods back, silent.
Yeah, he doesn't really have much to say and feels that he may not be able to speak in these moments. You definitely get that feeling that he's turning himself into the authorities, and that it's a grim thing. It's not a lot of people might have successfully done this, as it turns out. But yeah, you guys are eventually escorted out of that room. Oh, yeah.
Floop just lifts her froggy hand.
I wish to stay with Garrick.
That's really adorable. You see, he kind of looks down at you and goes, "Aye, well, I don't see a problem with that. You could remain if you like."
She requires water to soak in, and a less intense heat as she looks around at the molten
Yeah.
lava and ore.
At the molten everything.
Yeah, the city streets that led into this area definitely had a lot of molten stuff outside. And he kind of
Floop just
looks over to Garrick and points a thumb at Floop, and he goes, "Is that not just a really wet Groby?" to which Garrick shakes his head no, and just quietly staring at him, and he goes, "Right, so buckets of water. Don't think that should be too much of a problem. Right, and perhaps nicer accommodations. Maybe we'll roll those together into the same thing. See if we could do that. All right." And he sort of makes his way along.
But before Zax moves off with them, he goes back to Garrick and says, "Don't worry, I got an idea. Proof of concept."
he quietly, and I'm gonna say probably just Keeper and Vrail have the highest passive to hear this. He leans in to Zax and quietly, "Don't." just to him.
Regardless of whether or not I can hear it.
Yeah. Just fucking don't, and you get the feeling that he's please don't cause shenanigans. Don't make this worse for me.
I'll leave you to it, but I have a proof of concept in mind. I'll run it by you. I won't do it unless you give me a thumbs up.
And he kind of gives you a quiet nod.
All right, let's see what this place has to drink. And I turn and I walk, assuming that this new dwarf is following.
Yeah, he's coming along with you, and I'm gonna say that Floop, you remain there. As you guys are on your way out, you see that the sort of dignitary that's with you turns and says something to what appears to be like a runner of some sort. That person then immediately nods and fucking takes off in almost a sprint off into the city streets somewhere.
God. Little dwarf sprint.
Yeah, little put put as he runs off.
Does he run with his arms straight out at his sides?
Does he have a little 2-frame run animation?
Does it start going?
Yeah, little as he takes off. He definitely has his hands in fists, and they're sort of sticking out to the sides as he runs. They move a little bit as he goes, but definitely not much.
His bottom
So
half
Mario
shifts right when his
64.
top half
Yeah,
shifts
it's definitely
left,
Mario
and
60.
it's
It's very Mario 64.
I was more imagining Mini-Me from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
That would be like a gnome or like a halfling,
Yeah.
more than a dwarf.
Hmm.
No, a dwarf isn't. It's.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily make any grunting noises so much as you just hear the put 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 of him of his little feet hitting the ground as he runs off. Little dwarvy feet as they putter off into the distance. And yeah, that more or less leaves you guys with this fellow. As you guys make your way out, he sort of stops and claps one of his hands on the side of his head and goes, "Right, sorry about that. You may refer to me as Badin. My apologies, I didn't say anything sooner. It slipped my mind." He sort of chuckles and nervously kind of adjusts himself. Badin Okri.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Sax.
And he goes, right, and gives you a nod.
Climb back up onto my spider mount.
Yeah, and then Vrail, and he goes, right, good. You're you said he was the noble of some sort, right?
Yes, I'm the leader of my people, my entire kingdom.
That's important business. Garrick's found himself with quite some company, it seems.
You may refer to me as
He gives a very sort of almost a reverent serious nod up to Keeper. At that, I'm gonna say you guys continue into the streets, and I just want to get.
Oh yeah, no, Vrail's trying to just go somewhere to drink. As
Just gonna go.
Said,
Yeah.
As she said audibly, and if the and she's just gonna wander until she finds something, unless the escort has taken them specifically to a bar.
Yeah, specifically somewhere. You guys make your
Somewhere
way
here.
out into the streets. The distant sounds of hammering and the flowing of this molten substance sort of taking over. The heat, while it is certainly present, appears to not necessarily be as oppressive as one would imagine.
Vrail loves it.
Yeah, it's so fucking nice for you because you don't have to really worry about your personal temperature as much. It's so nice.
Every night I've been having to worry about my temperature going down too much.
Yeah, then you're gonna fucking pass out or something, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's fucking rad as hell. So yeah, you guys are heading along. Eventually, he does take you to what appears to be some venture of a dwarven establishment. There is, in a way, a kind of a merchant's district that you guys make your way into, filled with a number of different sort of like shops. You see there's a lot of craftsmen here, some of them even working out in the streets, like just outside their own dwellings or their own sort of shop there. They sort of just hammer away on a number of things. You see some of them sort of grinding down little stone trinkets or parts of some venture or another. Others are making food, and then eventually you come across, through your wanderings, a brewery where there is a fellow sitting on a stool, and he's got his feet up on a keg, and he appears to be asleep.
I look around to everyone. I look to the sleeping fellow and just clear my throat loudly. Just
Yeah. He suddenly like stumbles awake. He's got like a long gray beard that's been braided and woven. And he sort of like bewildered looks up at the group and then looks over seeing Barden and goes, "Right. Where can I get you? What do you drink? Do you drink? Is that what you hear? I imagine that's why you're here."
Does he sound a bit drunk himself?
Yeah, he's got like a bit of a rosy tint to his nose and his cheeks. You feel like this is a guy that lives his life buzzed a little bit in some fashion or another. To that, you see Barden then just like go, "Right, let's pour, gonna say," and he looks at the group, three steins of ale?
I hand this fellow 20 gold and I say, "Let us see what you have. Impress us."
Cyaces has been very, very quiet and kind of apprehensive up to this point, but seeing like the rest of her group kind of loosen up a little bit, she like finally like lowers the hood from her cloak and she speaks up and she says, she notices, it's like this is a brewery, and she said, "Do you also brew tea here by any chance?"
Okay, so in that moment, you drop your hood and you ask if anybody brews tea. You hear the sound of a few tools clattering to the floor. Looking around, you see there's a collection, a fucking smorgasbord of dwarves in this merchant's district that have all dropped their tools and their mouths are all hanging the fuck open. To
Not
which,
for why you would think.
yeah, the one guy that you guys are talking to, the brewer, is like still holding the gold in his hand, and he's just staring at Cyaces with his mouth open, and he's just like, and to which like Barden is just like, "Right then, chop chop," and like claps in front of him, and he's just like, "Well, we're still young, let's have it." And then
Cyaces looks over at Barden and goes, Did I say something wrong?
and he's just like, but as he's turning to you, to Cyaces, he goes, "Well, now, if we want tea, we'll need to go to a different—" Oh, fuck! And he, like, sees you sitting in the thing, and he goes, "Fuck me blind! Well, shit, like, puts his hands on his knees and, like, bends over a minute, and goes, "Right, we didn't know. We didn't receive word, and we're very sorry that you were traveling with an ancestor. That's, goodness me, he's sort of, like, looks, he's like, "I'm so sorry about everything."
There's no need for formalities. That's quite all right.
If anybody has is passively inciting Vrail, she very much seems like yes, no, there's very much
Like,
need
this
for
is a big
formalities.
deal, and they should
She's
think.
like,
Yeah.
"No, excuse you. No, there is need for formality. Thank you very much."
There is need for formality. How dare you? You know what I'm gonna say?
Because that you
Vrail,
are ancestor.
roll me performance with advantage.
Whew. Okay, roll my best stat with advantage.
Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah! So you fucking hands on hips, fucking puff up your chest a little bit, and a number of dwarves again in the street are like clamoring around to pick up their tools. One of them accidentally burns themselves on a piece of hot metal and it's like, ah, booger, and like fucking drops the metal into the like cooling bucket they have with them. And a lot of people are turning around, and you see Barton like immediately sort of like turning his attention between the two of you now, turns to Vrail and goes, I'm so sorry. We didn't know that you were traveling with an ancestor. Oh, goodness, it's such an honor to meet not only the ruler of another kingdom, but also this. Oh, goodness me. He almost like stumbling over his words a little bit while the brewer dwarf like takes Vrail's hand, puts the money back in her hand, and is just like, I'll find you the best I've got. And he fucking turns, fucking like scoots his way back into his shop as fast as he can. Also, thank you, Planther, for the tier 1 sub. 46 months. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Palantir.
Hell yeah, dude. And so, as all of this sort of commotion is going on, Barton is stumbling over his words between the two of you, and he goes, right, so is she related to you? And he looks to Vrail.
No. Not that I know of.
Oh, so it's not your ancestor specifically, but you have an ancestor with you.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Wow. He, like, it turns and he goes, if you don't mind me asking, what are you an ancestor of?
Oh.
Like, fuck.
Cyaces is kind of a little bit, I guess, taken aback by the questioning because she, this was a similar line of questioning that she got from Garrick, but was not really prepared to have to answer it again.
Mercenary Pen says, surface ancestors, what a time to be alive. Oh, fuck.
I suppose am an ancestor of I came from here, the Empire. I strangely don't really have a lot of memory of where I come from, and I'm figuring that out.
Oh, so you're an ancestor of the humans. Is that it? I don't want to say manlings. I feel that might be a bit. He sort of like looks to the rest of the group like, I feel that might be offensive. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Vrail does not like. There is an evident look on Vrail's face, like, nah, it's not at all offensive.
It's like, nah, you're
like,
good.
no, it's fine. You're good.
You're
Right.
good.
So you're
The fuck you want.
you're Umgu descendant then, eh?
I suppose that is what you would call us in your language, I suppose, yes?
Ah, yes. But what are you an ancestor of? I want you to roll me an insight.
Yep, okay.
Okay, so you recall briefly when you were talking about this stuff with Garrick that the ancestors, or very much the ancestor gods of the dwarven people, are sort of not only people that have died and their memory lives on in one form or another. Most of them, you remember him talking about it, like, don't necessarily manifest in this way, but they do pray to, in a sense, and give reverence to these people of their past, and they're remembered for specific things. Either the ancestor god of like smithing and craftsmanship, and there's one of war, and there's another of brew and like drink. There's like, you know,
like
a number of
penance.
their ancestor gods that fill a number of the different sort of like prideful parts of dwarven life.
Tea.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I guess for Cyaces in her past, she would have essentially kind of been,
Using
she-
an
she-
inspiration.
yeah.
What
Well,
would-
I mean, she doesn't exactly,
what would
she
she
doesn't exactly
remember?
100%
What would
know,
she
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do
Yeah.
know
To
that
make
the
something up.
town you were from was a farming community?
Mm-hmm.
If there's that, you are also free to, like, sort of make something up.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Funny enough, I don't really remember a lot. If I had to wager, if I had to hazard a guess, I would say probably, having to do with, farming, harvest, that sort of thing.
Farming and harvest. He beams at that, sort of like polishing his nails a little bit on his vest. He goes, "Well, as you know, Rogakol provides a great deal of fine mineral mountain water to much of the Manling farms to the south in Allura. Are you from there, or perhaps another place?" That's right. The ancestor god of
that is an entire mood.
That's right, the mercenary. Oh my god. Oh.
Well,
As a
I'm
god's followers
still
dwindle,
figuring that out as
the
well.
god itself loses their power and therefore their memory. It is hard for her to continue to speak of these things as she does not have many followers left.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, I imagine that might be so.
Something
You
like
know,
that.
I've always wondered that the downfall of the Ungi Empire might be resolved around the fact that they do not revere their ancestors in a proper enough way. And he
I agree.
Yeah, he goes, right, and he just fucking throws his hands up a little bit, such a loss. Well, they're lost, really. But you're still here, and I'm glad that you are, and we are honored to have you amongst our halls. To that, then, the brewer comes, kicks open the fucking front of the house, the building that he's got his brewery in, very, very Shrek, fucking boots it open. In his arms, he's got a number of these small handheld kegs. He has 3 of them. And he comes
like a little tasting flight.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like a fermenting keg, but it appears to be like the kind that would be maybe would hold maybe 2 pints worth of stuff. He comes sort of down the stairs. You see he's stepping with a little more careful than you would imagine, or that he had before. He definitely doesn't want to fall over and drop these. And he sort of places them on top of the keg that's out there, and he goes, "Right, so these are something I've been working on. It's some of the best stuff I've made. I hope that it is to your liking and that you enjoy it very much." And he, fucking bows with both of his hands out.
Keeper looks very interested in these casts.
Rail takes one.
Yeah, Frail, you pick one up, and do you want to uncork it and have yourself a drink?
Yes, I uncork it, and as I'm bringing it to my to my mouth, my tongue's flicking out at it, smelling it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, give me a what do we wanna call this? Let's do perception.
Nice. Smells like beer.
It doesn't smell like beer. It definitely smells like a sweet fermented beverage, but as you taste the air around it, removing sort of the cork from the one side of it, Jesus, it smells strong. You get this bouquet of delicious fruits, and there's mineral water in there for sure. But it is this powerful fucking scent. It is so incredibly pungent, in a good way.
I take a sip.
Yeah.
Keeper will also take this time to pull down his hood and take off his mask as he reaches for the drink.
All right, sweet. So we're gonna resolve these one at a time. Vrail, I want you.
All right, roll for initiative.
Here we go.
Vrail, roll a Constitution saving throw.
With advantage, because I have poison resistance?
With advantage, because you have poison resistance.
Thank you. Or, if it's magic.
It ain't magic.
Okay. Constitution. Wait,
5.
That was just a check. Sorry, that was just a check.
Oh, that's a check. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. That's better.
Constitution save. There you go. You almost lose consciousness. There is a brief moment where your eyes like wash over and then come back again. You're not inebriated. It was almost refreshing. But there is definitely like you got kicked in the soul from drinking this. It was some very, very serious stuff. Not as good as the stuff that you've had from Keeper. Not that strong, but definitely some powerful shit.
Yeah, I kind of look at Keeper reflexively after drinking this.
Yeah, you see Keeper take off his mask and pull back his hood. The brewer who's standing there fucking stumbles backwards onto his stool.
As like I see that he's taking his hood down, I like ready an attack action.
Yeah, you brace yourself. Yeah, the brewer stumbles backwards onto his stool, a little bit wide-eyed, staring up at you. You see Barton is like, "Oh, what now?" And he turns and looks. And again, you see like a number of the workers in the street just like fucking like drop a few things and like just at this point pick up their shit and fucking get out of like where they are. And yeah, Barton looks up at you and goes, "By my beard, how's this possible?" And he like looks around at the collected group, and
Zax just kind of waves, being the most normal out of the group.
Yeah, and he's
He's
fucking
the goblin, man.
Grovy's the most normal out of your bunch. I don't. He's like at a loss for words, looking up at Keeper.
Sizes just kind of shrugs.
Yeah.
Zax reaches down and pats the Spider-Man, like, "You hear that? I'm more normal than you are."
I'm gonna see if no. The brewer who's sitting there in his like sitting on his stool faints.
Oh no.
To which then Barton silently points up to the sign that's hanging above the door, which is written in Dwarven. So it's a number of runes and stuff like that, which you wouldn't. I don't think anybody here speaks Dwarven.
No. Pretty common and Grong.
Yeah.
Or what I speak.
Unless everybody has anything written in Giant.
And he goes, "Right, you can't read it. Bugman. This is Bugman's brewery." And
Keeper kind of tilts his head. Keeper almost like noticing that everybody's kind of looking at him. He kind of like almost reaches to pull his hood up, kind of like a little bit, like almost like a little shy.
Yeah, and he goes, does the name Joseph Bugman mean anything to you?"
Joseph
Bugman, I believe Garrick mentioned something along those lines during our travels.
Right. He's one of our ancestor gods, the ancestor god of brewing. It was said that generations, millennia ago, he traveled to the west, to the great living mountains that were there. Whatever his name was before he traveled there, we don't know. But he came back with the secrets of brewing like we've never seen before. Started this brewery and passed down the secrets of making the finest ale the world's ever known. Joseph Bugman.
And I
yes.
have just finally finished reacting to that. to Joseph Bugman.
Yeah.
All right, continue. Sorry.
Well, it said that he chose the name because the people that he met, that he learned the secrets of these brewing from, were, you know, bug people. And he sort of like gestures to you a little bit, and he goes, "We've only ever seen drawings, though. We've never actually seen one of your people in person."
Keeper kind of nods, in like, yep, that's me. Yes, the living mountains are where we are headed. I seek the knowledge of my ancestors who came from the living mountains to the west. That is where that is my destination.
Well, paint the anvil red and shove a crowbar at my nose. Shit. And he, like, sits on the steps, like, on the thing, and he goes, "Whew. Gonna have to make a report about that. That's definitely colors everything. This," and he, like, gestures to the whole fucking group of you, and he goes, "Yes, that definitely makes for an interesting thing there. Fuck me."
I do not wish to cause trouble. I apologize if me being here has caused any trouble.
Trouble? No, fuck, no. And he like stands, and he's like, seeing you is like seeing a fucking dragon in person. I don't know if there are dragons anymore out on the surface. We haven't seen one in hundreds of years, possibly thousands at this point. I don't know if the Umgi have seen them anywhere. Last we heard, there was some southeast part of the continent that they might have been, but understand, you're like a living myth to a lot of the folks that live here.
I apologize for the disturbance.
No, not at all. No. He shakes his beard, and he goes, "Not at all. We'd be honored if you would like to sample." He looks to the unconscious brewmaster and goes, "I'll tell him about it later. If you'd like to sample the very stuff that we've got here, our brew that we've made, passed down from evidently your ancestors."
Keeper's antenna kind of perk up, like, happily, and like, yes, I came here simply searching for a nice, good, stiff drink, but I am pleased. I would be delighted to taste anything you wish to share.
It'd be our honor. Trust me. And he gestures to it again. You definitely get the feeling that he does not feel that, like, handing it to you is appropriate. So he just keeps gesturing to it on the top of the keg that's there.
Keeper will kind of reach into his, like, under his arm, where to what his, like, supplies are, and withdraw his small drinking gourd.
Oh, okay.
And as is tradition amongst my people, you will get to taste. It would do me an honor if you would taste mine. And he kind of swishes the drink, or rather the drinking gourd around.
Does he pass out? Does he pass out?
No, you see him kind of like look at it, looks at the brewer who's unconscious, and he goes, "I'll have to tell him about it later." Reaches over and goes,
Jump
"Hi."
into the freaking metal.
Yeah, just like that kid who fucking gets the hole-in-one in mini putt, just like leaps off the edge, like head first.
He's totally fangirling right now.
Yeah. And yeah, just fan dwarf mode. Yeah, and he goes, "Right, well, I'll tell him about it later." And he holds out both of his hands very graciously.
Keeper places this drinking gourd into the dwarf's hands.
Yeah, he takes it, uncorks it, give it a bit of a sniff, and then he waits for you to drink first.
All right, Keeper will reach down and take a sip. Bring the drink up, and to do like a respectful bow and thanks, like with a full half of the top half of his body, kind of lean down forward a bit, and then take a nice big old swig.
Yeah, give me a Constitution save with advantage. Excuse me. 16. So you again don't lose consciousness. But like with the experience that you have through drinking constantly, you like, God, this shit's good. It's not better than yours. It's not worse. But it's different. You definitely get, like, you can taste the minerals that are used in the water. Like, it's a very heavy, very dense mineral water that was used as a base for this. And, like, the fruits and whatnot that were fermented, you definitely get a feeling that there was, like, some raspberries and some apple that were used in there. You get, like, those hints. And then you catch, like, just an edge of that flavor of the wood that's used, which is like an apple wood keg that you're holding. It's good shit.
I raise my cup and I say, to innovation, and I take another sip.
Awesome. Yeah,
To innovation.
To innovation, yeah. He takes another sip, and his mustache almost stands on end doing this.
Vrail's toast is like in reverence to why Garrick was exiled.
Yeah.
Please be careful. It is potent.
And he sort of like, I can tell. That's wow. Oh goodness. Well, that certainly puts a fire in me. My gods. Like, all right then. Oh, good. This is valuable stuff. And he puts the cork back on the top and offers it back to you. And he goes, that's amazing. And you just make it in the gourd there.
Oh, well, no. It requires. I use my brewing kit. And Keeper kind of gestures to a bunch of like small flasks and like distilleries that he keeps like on his belt.
Oh. And he, like, very, like, sort of, like, almost touching it with his nose, like, looks in very closely at, like, the brewing kit that you've got, sort of as, like, a mixture of bags and different things in your belt. And he's, like, sort of, like, pulls at his beard as he's looking, and he goes, well, see, yeah, no, I can definitely tell that you're not using water as a base. And you know, it's got a very, very sort of stony taste to it. I can feel that there. There's a very meaty, sort of grog to it, which is very nice. Very nice. I gotta tell you, it's like nothing we've got here.
I'm pleased that you enjoy it. It is not popular with most races.
He goes, and he throws his hands in the air and he goes, they're lost.
Keeper's antenna perk up happily. Like,
Manlings aren't known to have taste anyways. They eat their mashed potatoes all the time. Grumbles a little bit, talking about people. Have you noticed there's a bit of a fruity bouquet to the stuff we've got here?
indeed. It is unlike any fruit that grows back home.
That's raspberries and apple liqueur, and we use that surface grown just out there. And he, points out towards the gates. Brewed by poisonous folk for people who like poison.
Other than Vrail's people who just drink poison.
Yeah.
Like just straight up.
Straight up. Yeah, so you guys continue on, and while this is happening, back at the cell that Garrick is staying in with Floop, again, the door is left open, but the guards are still present while you guys are sitting there. As the time passes, Casey, Floop doesn't, or rather, Garrick doesn't say anything.
Well, Floop will eventually plop into her bucket of water. Very, very happy because she was feeling like she was going to be cooked right fast soon. And she just turns to him. Are you okay?
He quietly kind of nods, and you hear him sort of silently speaking, in a tone that's a lot softer than you're used to definitely hearing from Garrick. And he says, Aye, 'tis a great shame for me to come home and challenge me exile like this. Not sure if it'll go our way. If I fail this, then it's execution for me. But we've got to make a case that the Engineering Guild was wrong to cast me out. That said, Dowie love their traditions, so innovating new things is a slow process for the Dowie. Even though we still stand on the technological cusp of a lot of things, the engineering guild can be very stifled when it comes to coming out with new ideas or new innovations because, everything that we make here, eventually the rest of the world will pick up in one way or another. We were the ones here who developed black powder. If that gets out into the world, as it has, Umgi have been making now cannons with it and things of that sort, but, the steam that we use to power some of our forges, the other things we use here, the other technologies we come up with. If it gets out into the hands of people like manlings, then they could use it for irresponsible things. So we have to be careful.
Floop kinds of nod, and she waddles her bucket a bit closer to him because she clearly understands what it means. He is literally risking death in order to let us go on the other side to Keeper's Island. So.
And as you sort of waddle your bucket over to him, he manages a very small smile and sort of pats the side of the bucket.
Well, you're not alone in this. I am with you and I will support you any way I can.
He kind of nods and says, "'Tis an honor to travel with you. You're good folk. And I will remember this." To that, a dwarf sort of runner, you imagine to be like a secretary of some kind. He comes in, trundling up to one of the guards, speaks quietly to them, and then makes his way off. The guards all sort of his eyes widen a little bit, and then he turns to the rest of them and snaps one of his sort of metal gauntleted hands, making a tink tink. When he does that, the other guards straighten up and he goes, "We're moving this one. We're going uptown." To which Garrick definitely looks surprised. And then you guys escort you out of that area and up to one of the more noble districts of Vraugakal, where you guys are moved into some much more comfortable accommodations.
During that time, Floop is just like, "Oh, Vrail, what did you do?"
If you are in your bucket when the guards come in, one of the guards each will grab one of the handles on either side of the bucket, and they'll pick it up and just walk with you in the bucket.
Oh,
Yay,
no.
bucket ride!
What's interesting is despite the fact that they've hoisted a fucking two-handed maul in their other hand, and they're wearing heavy dwarven plate, they walk with a very steady pace to them, and they don't appear to spill any of the water from your bucket as they go along. A bucket of frog, that's right, Kara.
Bucket of frog.
Eventually, you guys are taken up to the nobles district, where a lot of the architecture is very similar, but there's a little more gold in the stonework. There's a little more fanciful things, a little more filigree here and there in some of the structures. The doors look a little bit nicer, and they walk you up into a sort of an empty home that appears to be there. Coming inside, there's a number of stone beds with blankets and things on them. There's a large hearth that appears to be already lit. There's a large amount of food that's been placed on a table. You see some roasted bird of some kind and a number of fruits and vegetables there. And there's no other doors or windows. So when they bring you in, they then give you guys a nod and then close the door, and you guys are in that space. Vrail, Keeper, Zax, and Syaces, you guys are out drinking some cool booze. Syaces, do you take the third keg that's there?
Cyaces does not partake in the alcohol in front of her. She's not really an alcohol drinker so much.
Barton
Maybe
does offer it
Maybe
to
if
you.
there was a little wine or something, but a beer, I don't know.
It appears to be like some kind of liquor. He offers if you would like to have a sample of it. If he could perhaps pour you a small tasting cup.
Cyaces kind of pauses for a moment.
Roll me
And
an
then-
insight.
Yeah, okay.
Seems like he's really trying to impress the ancestor.
Oh, he's with a 14, he super wants you to taste this stuff because he's so excited to impress the ancestor that has been found suddenly in their kingdom.
Right, okay. Cyaces kind of pauses for a moment and she says, yes, I will try a little, but be warned ahead of time that I am not a big drinker, and so this might be a little bit of a shock to my system.
Yes, of course. And he produces, sort of like goes inside the brewery and comes out like seconds later with a little silver tray. And on the silver tray is just the littlest silver cup, like almost a thimble in its size. And he very, with just like the gentlest movements, uncorks the last cask, pours a little bit of it into the little glass, recorks it, and then brings the tray over to you and offers it.
Okay. Cyaces kind of gives like a gentle little nod in thanks and takes the cup and takes a little sip.
Roll me a Constitution save with advantage.
Constitution save.
Okay, so
Disadvantage.
Not bad, actually.
being an undead, alcohol definitely affects you in a vastly different sense. That you don't get the same like fucking kick to the head that certain booze would give, but you do, astonishingly enough, still taste it. As you have a sip of it, you definitely catch like that powerful alcohol, but it doesn't affect you. It's just something you can taste. You definitely get like the notes of that fruit, that mineral water, like the cask and everything. This just like this bouquet of like powerful, complex flavors.
So Cyaces kind of like it's like there's almost like this kind of like her body shivers a little bit. She's like, ooh.
Yeah. Strangely enough, you feel a little warm.
Oh,
Ooh,
this is new for me.
that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
This is new for me. Oh. Well, this is lovely. Yes, this is very nice. Thank you.
You see, he beams up at you and goes, it's nothing. He offers the tray up
Red,
again.
like, oh.
Yeah, like, oh, shit. He offers the tray up again for your cup when you're done.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Cyaces puts the cup back on the tray and nods again in thanks.
Ibra continues to drink liberally, enjoying his beer.
Yeah,
shit.
Vrail takes Vrail-sized mouthfuls of of this.
Yeah. Casey romance with an ancestor. He then like hurries the tray with the cup back inside, and then sort of like taps the cork again on the last remaining keg and offers it to. Are you still sitting in the mech?
You know what? I guess I didn't specify whether or not I have exited the mech. So I guess I'm just still kind of chilling in this mech.
Yeah, Zax fell out of the trunk but didn't like get
Yeah.
back in, so I think
Yeah.
you've just been sitting in the mech the entire
I've just
time.
been, yeah, I guess Cyaces has just been kind of chilling in this mech, just kind of like trying not to panic a little bit. I don't know, like everybody's reaction has been kind of a lot, and before that she was just like, I don't know how to, are we okay here? my friends seem to think we're okay here, so then she, let her hood down, but then everyone lost their shit, so like she's just kind of like trying to vibe in this mech.
Yeah.
Like she was so out of place that she forgot where she was sitting.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Just
Pretty much a
associated her
little
way to
bit.
this bar.
You see, as he walks over to Cyaces with the last remaining sort of sampling keg, he like looks to her, looks at the mech, and then looks at Zax. And
At
then,
this close range, he would be able to tell like the cloak is shimmering and changing color, as well as like all of the little other like magical things that he uses for his spells.
Also, how clean is Zax?
Zax is still pretty fucking clean for a goblin.
yeah, you use prestidigitation to clean yourself a lot. You are as far in goblin standards, you're fucking immaculate.
You're a real shiny boy.
And
for
you
human
also have the
standards, you're pretty good,
homunculus
too.
arm still on you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, he sees you see him look Zax up and down. He clocks the mechanical arm, and he goes, "Right, this is for your ancestor," and he hands it to you, Zax.
For my ancestor.
He assumes that you're a servant, that you are in service to the person riding in the mechanical mount.
Zax just kind of looks at him confused. It's like, my ancestor? What?
Aye, right. Chop.
I finished my drink.
Don't be heavy on your feet. Come on, then. And he gestures for you to put the keg in the trunk. As he then turns back to Vrail, and he goes,
Did he just give us a cask as a gift,
"Yeah,
like a whole cask as a gift?
it's like a sampling cask, so it has about
Yeah.
2 pints of that booze in each of them. One was given
Sure.
to Cyaces, another one to Vrail, and one to Keeper."
Very
so,
nice.
Okay, so he's tossing me he's just forcing a sampling cask into my hands.
Yeah, he just handed it to you. Roll me. Actually, you know what, Zax? Roll me insight.
Insight.
15. He thinks you're the help. So, he assumes you're a goblin traveling with a queen, one of the revered bug people, and an ancestor riding on a mechanical spider. He thinks you're a servant of some kind, that you're the help of some regard, like you're a butler. And you're very clean for a goblin, so you must be a butler. So he just hands it to you, and because he's like, I don't want to hand this straight to the ancestor. That's rude. So he hands it to you, and he's like, right there you go. So you could hang on to that for her. And okay.
I turn up to Cyaces like, I might want to taste later on, not right now. Want to keep my head clear for tomorrow. And then he pats the mount. It's like, as he turn around, so he could get at the trunk.
I just fucking is drinking apple-flavored liqueur and feeling mellow. Yeah, living the luxurious life of pure superstition.
Yeah.
Fucking-
So once he kind of once the brewer kind of takes his leave, turns around to walk away and do something else, Cyaces kind of bends over to Zax and she's like, "You can just keep the cask. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can just have
Sorry.
it. I know it's good for me, but you can have it. It's fine."
Zax just kind of shrugs and places the cask in the trunk of the spider.
Yeah.
Closes it again.
The spider is happily just sort of wiggles a little bit. Is just very happy to be here. You see Barden sort of smiles at the mech and gives it a little nod. He goes, "Right, then, where else can we take you? Perhaps something to eat? Your upgraded accommodations might be ready."
I would absolutely enjoy something to eat. And also, I'm sure on the way you can tell me how your people came to craft such wonderful architecture. in this mountain.
Oh, I have a question. Zax raises his hand.
Well, right before you ask, to Vrail, he goes, I think we could definitely arrange a meeting with some of the craftsmen. And then turns to Zax and goes, Hi, what is it?
Where do you have a place where your artificers are?
We do. The Engineering Guild. It's actually where...
Gestures broadly to the city.
yeah. And he goes, Engineering Guild is actually where Garrick was before he was exiled.
Perfect.
I'm sure all of this will look very favorably on Garrick.
Zax turns to the group. Eventually, we're gonna need to go there.
It's fine.
If you'd like, I could bring you down to the Engineering Guild so you can have a look at it. I don't think that should be a problem.
A look, yes, but not doing anything there until we
No, of
sort
course.
everything with our
No, you
friends.
say, I do regret to inform you you're not allowed to touch anything. But we can certainly have you come down and have a look at our facilities if you'd like that.
Excellent.
Sure. Would that suit the rest of the party gathered? Would you like to go down and see our Engineering Guild, our pride and joy of Vrogakol?
Or do you guys want something to eat first?
Do we need to be with you to do that?
I look. We only have one guide.
I am not particularly hungry, and I can fast if necessary. I will go with you to the Engineering Guild if the remainder want to go and get food.
I look at the undead, and then I sigh, and I say, we're going to the Engineering Guild.
We'll have some food prepared for you at your accommodations afterwards, if that's suitable.
That is suitable.
Perfect. And he sort of like proudly then begins. He's definitely got his fucking elbows out, like fists. He's like proudly walking down the street, leading you guys along. As you guys move along through the city, he's like gesturing to the architecture as well. As Vrail has definitely taken an interest in that, like talking about how much of the stone that's here was either natively carved by them or was poured as molten lava, cooled, and then carved into different the shapes that they have, and that by doing so they've actually been able to create stronger stone structures or other stone structures that like might sort of overcome natural flaws or weaknesses in the stone. Detect magic from Zax.
I'm casting this as a ritual on our way down.
Okay.
So during our walk, people will see me like tinkering with a set of goggles that I'm preparing for it.
Oh, okay, so you know what, this actually probably works really well then, because as they're walking and talking, Cyaces realizes she's still on the mech, and she kind of like gives Azzy a good little pat and like a thank you, and gets down, and then motions for Zax to get back up on his mount if he would like.
Zax does, because it's easier to work when he's not actually walking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
You guys seem to trade places. At one point, Barden notices but doesn't say anything, and then sort of continues with his like sort of guided tour as he brings you down there. As you sort of give a pat to Azzy, it like gives you a little chirp happily as you guys continue along.
I was just taking it all in, and I love that we just like left that bartender or that barkeeper
passed
out.
Yeah, that
robbed.
brewmaster is unconscious, like still unconscious when you left. He didn't wake up and just continued
We
being
just robbed
blacked
him
the
and
fuck out.
Cyaces left him a nice little thank you note.
Aw, that's very cute.
Tell him about it afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to tell him about it afterwards.
I'm pretty sure when he will wake up, he was I that drunk to imagine all this?
Yeah. because he was already a little out of his teacups to begin with, and then seeing what he saw all in succession just pushed him right over, and he absolutely beefed that check. So, but yeah, making your way down through, he sort of continues on with a guided tour, like talking about, and you can definitely tell that he has sort of an appraising knowledge of stonework and craftsmanship, but like the specific techniques are something that he's not versed in. That he doesn't know exactly how this stuff is done, like how they pour the magma in such a way that it doesn't like harm people or break or crack any of the instruments or anything else like that. But he has a very surface knowledge of a lot of stuff because he's more of a more of a dignitary.
Vrail's still taking it all in, like, and she's like kind of like keeping that knowledge tucked away for when she has to build.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And yeah, Zex, as you kind of are going along, it's definitely more than a 10-minute walk. There are definitely some sort of like halls and tunnels and plateaus that you guys are moving along when your detect magic activates. And it lasts up to 10 minutes. So as you're going along, you're getting pings of magic. It appears to be a lot of evocations magic and summoning magic from a lot of different areas. Namely, a lot of the torches and lights and whatnot around the kingdom appear to be conjuration and or evocation sort of mixed together to create ever-burning flames that just continue going. They don't require fuel or any kind of upkeep. They don't start fires, like they're not going to accidentally, light drapes on fire or anything like that. Some of the buildings and dwellings that you go by, you get pings of some pretty sophisticated stuff. Not necessarily anything you recognize. As you approach the engineering guild, you get, from deep within the engineering guild, this ping of summoning magic. And it's hard for you to put your finger on exactly what it is, but there's something powerful deep underneath the guild.
But it doesn't feel like a lot of the guild is using magical methods in their regular crafting or anything like that.
Oh yeah. So other than that, like the thing that you're feeling deep underneath the guild, like you are getting pings that they're some of the equipment is enchanted that they have there, like the hammers and anvils and whatnot have what appear to be like base enchantments to ensure that the tools themselves don't break. And there are runes that are inscribed on the armor and the weapons of a lot of the guards and on some of the other people that are walking about that give off like pings of different schools of magic. Some of them have evocation magics built into them. Others have transmutation or even some cases divination magic.
Okay.
Eventually, though, yeah, you guys are brought to the entrance of the engineering guild. Barden, as you guys are standing out in front of it, just like, gestures up to it and goes, "This is our noble engineering guild. This is where all of our engineers get together to come up with all of the amazing ways in which our city continues to thrive."
And I've been told that your magic users are in a separate area. Is that correct?
Well, there are... there is the Mages Guild, the Wizards, that do exist within our kingdom. They have a bit of a disagreement with the Engineering Guild. They think that magic is really just the pure solution to all life's troubles, and whereas the Engineering Guild tries to think a bit more complex and have a bit more future sight. Maybe a bit biased. Myself, my mother was an engineer.
Zax looks like
he kind of like
almost
beams a little bit, very proudly.
Zax noticeably looks a little bit disappointed. which is surprising for this. Like just hearing that both of them are kind of kept separate and like are at odds with each other. Like Baden would noticeably see him kind of deflate and look a little bit miffed about that.
So your engineers do not use magic?
Oh, well, not precisely. The magics that are used here is rune magic, for the most part, where they...
So enchantments and such.
It's a form of enchantment, aye. A bit sturdier than what you might see from certain places, as the magic is inscribed in dwarven runes upon certain objects that imbues them with the powers that we choose, and it's I mean, and he kind of like leans over a bit, like, if you ask me, it's a bit more stable than your standard enchantments, and a bit more resilient. Lasts longer, less chance it'll blow up and singe your beard, as it is.
Zax looks down to Ozzy. It's like, hey, you know, it's all right. You know, the fusion works. You're proof of that.
He goes, I appreciate that. It's, if you'd like, I'll give you a brief tour of the forge.
Zax was talking to Ozzy. His mech.
He does not seem to notice that, but Azzy does, and gives you a happy little chirp as you guys walk along. From there, he leads you in to what appears to be a huge fucking forge. There is molten metals and lava flowing through the building in many different places. The steps lead up to a massive black anvil that's there, and pounding away upon that anvil is a singular dwarf.
Hey.
She's facing away from you as you guys make your way in. As she continues to hammer away, she then picks up the piece that she's banging on, drops it down into the quenching bucket next to her, picks up a rag, and starts to wipe her hands. Before she turns to you, she says, "Barden, you've brought strangers into my forge. Why?" And she turns her eyes then sort of scanning across the group. She doesn't necessarily clutch her pearls, much like a lot of the other people have, but she raises her eyebrows a bit. Barden goes, we're just giving a tour to some honored guests that we have. She sort of throws the rag that she's using to wipe her hands back on top of the anvil. Honored guests. I hear they've returned with my father.
Oh.
An awkward silence falls across the room. He goes, Garrick has returned to challenge his exile. And she's kind of, and she nods to him. She looks then to the rest of the group. I am Rulina Steamhaft, chief engineer of these parts. You may look, but don't touch. She nods respectfully then to the group. Turning back around, she goes back to looking over some of the parts and whatnot that she's working on.
Zax takes like great interest in like a bit of the architecture and like a bit of how they're getting the lava to flow safely around the room.
Roll me investigation.
Investigation.
Yeah. Hey. It's hard to tell. It could be the type of stone that they're using. It could be the thickness of the stone. It could be that they have rods of metal maybe inside certain parts of the building that like conduct the heat away from the areas where people are standing or working. but yeah, you kind of can't quite put it together from where you're standing.
We're not here to poke around, at least yet, until our business is concluded.
I go up to the woman, still giving her plenty of space to continue her work.
Mm-hmm. You see on the anvil itself, there is just a bouquet of metal parts, masterfully crafted, and they all appear to be sort of like, not necessarily gears, but they are a metal working of like a finer type, almost like parts of a Rubik's Cube or something like that, sort of laid out on the table. She, using a pair of pliers, pulls one out of the quenching bucket that she had, places it on the table, and begins to examine it. Or on the anvil, rather, sorry.
Why does distaste reach your tongue while speaking of your father?
She sort of turns and looks with one eye up at you. She says, "He's brought shame to our family. He went against the engineering guild, and I have taken over in his stead. If you want, you can roll an insight."
Yeah.
Can I also roll an insight?
Yeah, go for it. Anybody that wants to can. 23!
Oh, bam.
Yeah, okay, so Cyaces and Vrail, you definitely get the notion that she's not happy that she's taken over the engineering guild. That this is potentially something that she wanted, but not like this. Zax, having worked with Par in sort of the intricate world of crafting ridiculous objects like this, you could tell that she's... Like, you get the notion that she was definitely forced to prove herself much sooner than she wanted. That this isn't how she wanted to be in charge. That it wasn't through her dad getting kicked out and her having to take over.
So it seems like she's been put under a great deal of stress.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't want yet.
Not only does she have to take over, but she's had to prove herself then, and you get the notion that she has to continuously, pretty much until she fucking dies at this point, just absolutely be amazing. That, like, the slightest slip-up is going to be like, oh, well, that's your fucking dad coming out, like, and then that's going to be shame upon the family.
Out of curiosity, with that insight, could I tell what she's making?
With that insight, I mean, with an 8 investigation, I'm gonna say, you know what? Roll me another investigation with advantage.
With advantage.
All right, so with an 18,
So I'll have gotten off the spider mech and like wandered
like
my way up.
peeking up over the top of the big anvil there.
I am a curious motherfucker when it comes to this kind of shit.
Yeah, you see there's like a massive heating, sort of like almost a cauldron behind her, that instead of a normal forge where they would use like, you know, billows and fire to heat a piece of metal, in this particular case there's just a vat of molten metal behind her, that is being pulled and shaped and cooled and shaped and whatnot into these things. What you can see that she's working on the table with an 18, like, you recognize definitely a lot of the sort of craftsmanship is very reminiscent to the stuff that you saw on Garrick's pack. All of the different parts and pieces that she's banging together appear to make a sort of single-shot version of the firearm that Garrick was carrying. A small handheld one. A pistol, effectively.
So Zax will kind of like look over the pieces and then then like without even looking over at her, it's like, you're making a miniaturized cannon.
That's right, Phoenix. In Dawi culture, nepotism's not a bad word. Because that's like, no, you know this person can do the job, and so you offer them, and if they fuck it up, then that's on your family. But yeah, you say that, and she raises an eyebrow. You swear. I'm going to let you carry that 23 insight. You swear you see the slightest smile in her face. And before that immediately is like creased out back to her sort of stoic look, and she goes, "Aye, wouldn't expect a Groby to understand. Interesting that you do."
Well, I make this kind of stuff, not specifically like this, but like something almost similar.
So,
Grobies
Like-
have engineers. She
having,
just
like, Vrail having started this conversation and was absolutely going to continue it, she
Hmm.
looks around, like, sees this woman and her reaction to her, like, question, and before Zax came up, because
Yeah.
it was supposed to be, like,
yeah.
she takes it all in and says, "Got it," turns around and walks back down.
Okay. Yeah, she like
Because
watches you as
from-
you descend back down the stairs and join sort of the rest of the group that's there.
From Vrail's perspective, she can see that what position that she's in, what laws she is being forced under,
Mhm.
and that she doesn't seem to be, like, even allowed to speak in favor of her father. And
Yeah,
therefore, Vrail
you
is
definitely
not
get
going
that
to-
impression. Yeah.
that Vrail is not about to force her to.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever the hell this woman thinks of her father, she is not going to say anything positive. Or if she did, it would be far too veiled for what Vrail is looking for.
Yeah, like you, especially with like that 15 insight, you definitely get the feeling that there might have been an opportunity for her to speak up in defense of her father, but doing so would have only exiled her as well.
Yeah.
That putting a line between her and her father allowed her to not only protect their family name, but also to protect the guild and continue running it.
So, when she gets back to the rest of the group, other than Zax, of course, she will say, "We are going to be at your father's what's it
Appeal?
called? What?
Appeal?
Appeal, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. We are going to be at your father's appeal on his side."
She like pauses hammering a particular part that she has on the anvil for like a brief moment. She locks eyes with you, Vrail, gives you a nod, and then continues working. I'm gonna let you, if you want, you can carry that 15 insight.
Okay.
She definitely likes that you're on his side, but can't voice that.
Yep.
She's like sort of politically not in a position where she can be like, "Thank you."
Yep. Whereas Vrail is politically in a position to say whatever the fuck she wants.
Fuck yeah.
That's why she did.
Yeah,
to get like kind of a little camaraderie in with this woman.
Yeah. She, like, you know, gives you that nod and then goes back to pounding away on this particular part that she's got on the anvil. Barden definitely looks awkward in this whole exchange. He goes, "Right, we'll let you get back to that and be on our way then." Sort of like claps his hands
before-
together, like, "Woo."
Before Zax does turn to leave, he says, "I'm not an engineer, I'm an artificer."
She sort of like narrows her eyes at you, like those are the same thing. Like she doesn't understand. She goes, "Is that what Groby engineers are called? Artificers?"
I don't know. I don't know any other goblins that are. I'm an apprentice.
So it's just you then?
To my knowledge, I don't know all goblins.
She sort of like nods and goes, that makes more sense. She goes back to pounding away at one of the parts.
Impressive craftsmanship, as I would expect. And then he turns and starts back down.
She gives you a nod as you say that. Like, of course it is, but also thank you.
Like, yes.
Yeah, I'm the best fucking engineer in this whole kingdom. Probably this whole continent, but yes, also thanks. like, duh. You guys then are escorted by Barden out of that space and back up into the kingdom proper.
So I say to the escorting dwarf that is with us, what I said to her was our plan. We are going to assist with the appeal of Garrick if we are able to be in the same chamber as him while he goes through with it.
And he goes,
Oh, aye, of course. Well, no, it's you're the one that'll be making the appeal during the hearing. You'll be speaking with the king.
Good.
On his behalf. He was exiled, so he's not allowed to talk directly to the king himself, but you'll be speaking on his behalf, and he looks between the bunch of you and goes, I think he's got good company, honestly. It stands, good chance as any, I imagine.
The thing is, the only thing I consider that might be a hindrance on him is that I agree with his ideals. I agree with the ways that he saw or that he was exiled for.
Aye. Barton then sort of like stops and steps to one side, not necessarily like into an alley, but like definitely away from people that might be listening. To the rest of the group, he kind of addresses you guys in like a huddle almost. He goes,
Right, look. There's only been maybe a handful of Dawi that have ever come back to question their own exile. All of them have been executed. As it stands, you agree with the reason to which he was exiled. That's the point. Your argument will be that he was right and that the traditions of the Engineering Guild were wrong.
I agree.
Of course.
I agree.
Others might as well. Usually, new innovations only come after maybe a generation or so, preceding the death of the person who invented it. Like the Dawi that came up with black powder died years before it ever came into use.
So you're telling me that our friend has to die before his idea will even take root?
I'm saying that typically, when the Engineering Guild takes in plans like that, the thing that he was saying that should be the new standard for sea travel, that he would have grown old, passed away, and his daughter Relina would probably grow old and pass away as well. Years before it's ever brought before the guild and considered to be brought into practice.
What I'm saying...
The Greybeards
is
like to
that-
deliberate for a very long amount of time.
What I'm saying is that if the appeal is negative and he is not executed,
Aye.
he will still see his ideals in his lifetime. I will personally make sure of it.
That is a tall order. But you are a queen traveling with a bugman and an ancestor, so...
he kind of chuckles. The fuck do I know?
If Vrogakal does not see this as innovation for at least two generations of your people, then I will see it as innovation away from Vrolgakal.
To that, he kind of like gestures for you to keep your voice down about that specifically. And he goes, "Aye, well, be that as it may, I'd imagine your first concern is getting your friend to get you a boat across the water, yeah?"
If that's our first concern.
Well, for his sake, I hope it is. Right, and he sort of claps his hands together and goes, we'll get you along to your accommodations. And he walks along, sort of retaking his proud stance as he leads you guys through the streets with elbows out as he sort of pumps as he walks along. Eventually, he does bring you guys to the sort of the nobles sector of the kingdom, sort of up on the upper area. Sort of moving through the streets, eventually there is an area where, like, sort of connecting the lower to the higher space where a lot of the nobles and royalty might live, there is a lift that you guys step into, which is like a big stone elevator that like has automatically closing rails and then lifts you guys up long above the rest of the kingdom, and you can really see out in a great distance, sort of illuminated by the flowing magma through the kingdom. You guys are brought up, and I'm just going to go ahead and use the shop here to represent Dwarven Indoors, because I didn't plan for you guys to not be in a jail cell.
Okay.
Because the best, it's like, you know, when you make plans and God laughs at you. It's like that with DMs, only it's the players that laugh at you whenever you come up with ideas.
Fair enough.
Yep. We'll have one for.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have one
a
for next
queen
week,
is definitely
for
gonna
sure.
sit around in a cell. No.
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
I don't care for this.
I didn't consider this in all my preparation. You guys are brought in to, we'll pretend this is Dwarven accommodations, and you see, sitting inside, you see Garrick and Floop kind of hanging out. The roaring fire in the hearth is there. There's a number of beds to accommodate for everybody that's here, and there's a large sort of like still good feast that's been laid out on the table. With that, Barton then like gives you guys a nod and exits and closes the door.
Zax immediately sees if there's a bath.
There is. It is in a room to the back, and it has hot water.
I immediately start ritual casting detect magic.
And now Zax will go around looking for a metal wash tub.
The bath is attached to it. I don't know if you're
I'm looking for something that would fit inside the bath.
something that'll fit inside the bath. Like how big?
It doesn't have to be big, but it definitely has to be made of metal.
Okay, like big enough to fit you in it, or small?
No. Like it could be smaller than that.
Yep.
Like a bucket?
But yeah, like a metal bucket or something.
Like a metal bucket. Yeah, like looking around. Oh yeah. As you guys are being brought in, another person definitely comes along and brings like a metal bucket that you can see has like dwarven sort of like filigree around the top of it. It's very very nice. And they bring it in, and he places it on the ground, and it has like this nice cool water in it. The gentleman that brings it in gives you guys like a bow and then scurries off.
Floop is chilling in her bucket.
Is there somewhere we can replace this water with? Because I need an empty bucket, an empty metal bucket, and I don't want to get rid of cool water when everything else is hot.
Yeah, there's like a number of bowls and stuff around here.
So
that you can
Zax
move it into.
will empty out the bucket into the bowls to make sure that we don't like lose cooler water.
Lose the nice cool water.
Why would
Yeah.
Zax need a bucket? Is he looking pale?
Oh my god. Thank you, Phoenix. So yeah, you now have the dwarven bucket.
Okay, is it heavy?
It's pretty heavy.
Or it? God damn it! I need a like a metal container.
The fuck are you
but a
doing?
thin metal
Just talk to me.
container.
Tell me what the hell you're trying to get up
I'm
to.
looking for a thin metal container to test buoyancy.
So you're gonna
Buoyancy
do
of what?
buoyancy tests?
He's going to do a buoyancy test with a pure metal container.
I see what you're doing.
Making a
This is a proof of concept.
This is proof of concept. Yeah, you know what? You do find like a number of small metal bowls that you can use playing around in the bathtub.
which is what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's just like a little rubber ducky in there.
Yeah, you got a little rubber ducky. You put it in the little bowl. You put it in the water in the tub, and it floats. But yeah, the thick metal bucket that has like the nice cool water in it is sort of there in the middle of the floor of the room. Vrail, casting Detect Magic. Looking around the room, you see that there's a number of enchantments in certain key areas of the construction of this space. Like you get the enchantments on the weapons and armor and stuff of the guards that are posted outside. There aren't any other sort of like doors or windows into this place, so that is the only entrance that you can see. And looking around, there's like a few enchantments. Like there's some kind of summoning magic involved with the hearth that's there. It appears to be a small amount of fire elemental magic that is working as sort of an ever-burning spark. So all they have to do is just throw wood in there, and it'll just start burning. They don't have to, like...
Is any of it divination magic?
Not around here that you can find. No, it's mostly evocations and conjuration.
Excellent. Alright. So then if I keep my voice down, we won't be overheard.
That is correct. Smart move.
Yeah.
Do you keep the detect magic up?
Yeah, may as well.
Okay.
Like for as long as it goes.
Yeah,
10 minutes.
The rubber ducky has a beard for no reason.
For no reason. Well, we know the reason.
Yeah, we know the reason. It's dwarves.
We know the reason. It's a bit stouter of a duck. Like, it's a very squarish duck. So I say to Garrick, we are going to speak on your behalf in your appeal. And my plan is to get you out alive regardless. If you are not given the option to prove your idea's value, then I will take you out of this kingdom and you can do that for us. Because I believe in your vision, and I believe that I personally believe that it's wasted here.
He gives you like a very respectful nod. And he says, "Aye. If they allow me to make this ship, it will be yours. You have my word on that. If their judgment, though, falls upon me, I will not leave. I must accept the judgment of my people. Though, from the mutterings I hear from folks out there, it would appear that you certainly made an impression, and a good one at that."
Somebody fainted.
Somebody fainted.
Well, that may have been my...
What?
He sort of like looks
I
around the
apologize.
room, looks at Keeper. Did you go by the brewery?
Yes.
Keeper
That'll do
nods.
it. He just like nods because you're not wearing your mask or your hood anymore. And he goes, that'll do it. Did you see the fella at the brewery? How was he? Did he look well?
He
He
seemed
looked-
well for a drunkard.
Tired. And then surprised. And then Tired.
And he goes, aye, that sounds about right. Good for him.
He seemed well. And I met the current director of the artificers, the engineers.
His face softens at that mention. I think it was Relina.
I nod.
How was she?
Tired.
She's making a small gun.
Aye. And he kind of smiles and he goes, she always thought the one I made was a bit much. Thought it'd be better to have her as a small sidearm that you could pull and just shoot the once. And that, you would only need to shoot the once if, you wouldn't be wasting so much ammunition if you just shot right the first time. He kind of chuckles a bit to himself and he's, smart as a whip, that one.
Definitely seemed like she got inspiration from one of her ancestors.
He kind of blushes a little bit and he goes, I would hope so.
But yes, she seems tired.
Floop is utterly confused.
Floop's just vibing.
As she does.
Are you in your bucket or are you in the dwarf bucket?
I don't know, man. What buckets were happening? Like,
What buckets is Floop in? Because you have your bucket with water, and there's also a dwarf bucket that was dropped off that's got some cool, clean water in it as well.
Well, if I have the opportunity to cool myself down and not boil into a fucking French breakfast, I would take. I would take the cool water.
Yeah, your feet make a little like slapping noise across the smooth stone floor. Hopping into the new bucket, a little bit of water kind of comes up over the edges, but God, it's so fucking nice. Like, it is the cleanest, coolest water you've ever hung out in. Crystal fucking clear, this stuff. But yeah, so you guys are here for the evening.
yes, and I eat a lot of meat.
Fuck yeah. There's a ton on that table. Like, there's several roasted whole birds.
Is there non-meat food too? Potatoes
there
or
is.
whatever?
There's a number of root vegetables. There's a couple of onions there, potatoes, carrots, turnips, as well as some apples and raspberries.
Keeper will pick at the vegetables, and then once he discovers the fruit, indulge in fruit for pretty much the rest of the night.
Fuck yeah.
That's like candy.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm
shit.
sure the furniture in this place is like part of the floor.
Yeah, it's rock. It's all, like, the bed is stone. There
Right,
is some,
right.
like, semi-stuffed duvet that's been thrown over it, and, like, some furs
Does
and
it
stuff like
seem-
that, but...
Does it seem like it can move?
Roll me... I'm gonna say either investigation or perception.
I'll roll perception.
13. So you're looking to see if there's any parts of the floor that move.
No, the furniture. Can the furniture move on its own, or like with, like, can I shove some furniture?
You get the notion that some of the furniture can be moved, but it's extremely heavy, and the beds have been set into the floor, like they're definitely attached, either part of the floor or bolted down in some regard. The table is similarly fixed, but the chairs are movable.
Okay. It was the beds that I was concerned about.
Floop would have eventually asked for if she could borrow a book that would translate, like, from common to Dwarvish, because she wants to learn the tongue.
Sure. At that request, like, if you ask, like, one of the guards or one of the other, like, attending staff, then they'll agree to that much, and they'll go to find a book that is a common to Dwarven translator.
Well, it's probably Dwarven to Common, but then you just read it backwards.
Yeah, like, it was definitely a book that was written for humans, that it was like, this is, like, sort of a book that will explain to you our language and, like, how we talk and why we say certain things, and there's, like, certain words they translate into, like, using common, like, English letters, phonetically sounding out certain things, and then you see it written again in Dwarven runes underneath. And then it's, like, almost every word has, like, a small paragraph of explanation as to, like, where that word comes from and why it's used the way that it is, and, like, how it links to a specific part of Dwarven history.
Well, she'll be intently studying that.
Dope. Yeah. You can add that to your inventory if you like. It is a common to Dwarven translating tome. Yeah. An Idiot's Guide to Dwarvish. That's right, Mercenary.
Gorgeous.
You do see some of the language and grammar that they use when explaining certain things is almost as though they are talking down to a person.
For a while, I like the beds are what, like they're just stone slabs?
Mm-hmm. It's a stone slab with, like, furs on them.
Okay, well, I remove the furs from one of the beds and, like, set them aside, and then I do produce flame, just, yeah, like the cantrip on one of the surfaces, and then, like, keep using it to, like, move it around on the surface of the stone.
Oh, yeah. To, like, heat the stone.
Yeah.
Make yourself a hot rock.
Or make myself a hot rock.
Yeah.
And then I lounge.
Yeah, like, producing the flame and, like, moving it around, sort of massaging the surface of the stone bed. The heat, like, soaks in and saturates into the stone really well, and it keeps really well, additionally. So, like, when you eventually, like, get up onto it to sleep, like, it keeps warm, like, for a great deal of the night. A lot of the stone in this dwelling is a little warm as well. Like, not hot, but, like, it's not cold. You get, like, kind of room temperature stone from a lot of the stuff that's here. But yeah, you heat up, make yourself a little hot rock to sleep on.
I want to be comfy. And whomever can use the furs, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to sleep on rock anyway.
Is there anything else anybody does for the remainder of the evening?
Zax will be tinkering with some of his gear, making sure everything's, like, up to snuff, especially his shield, which he's very proud of, with that nice design with the gear in it. As well as its infusion. But right. He would have also, like, pointed out the proof of concept to Garrick of the metal bowl floating in the water.
When you do that, he, like, looks at it and goes, I know that. I know it works. And he's like, truth be told, so do they. It's not that. I mean, there's a number of them that think that, no, something made of metal can't float on water. But as it is, it's not about whether or not it works. It's about whether or not we should. My argument was that creating a superior motion through the sea would benefit us. That if ever we were forced to leave our ancestral home, or if we wanted to explore places or open trade with further lands, that having superior sea travel would work to our benefit. And they thought,
and they turned that down.
They thought it'd be dangerous. That if we bring out ships made from metals into the world, then who would take that idea and make something terrible? Who would use that for
worse things. That we as a
How-
people have to be responsible for the technology that we bring out.
How long-lived are your people?
A few centuries. Maybe like 900 years.
Well, humans are much shorter-lived, are they not?
Aye. Nods and goes,
Look at what they've done in their lifetimes.
aye.
They are likely to speed past the ingenuity of the dwarven people for the idea alone of waiting. The dwarven people wait to take these ideas into consideration. Whereas the humans do not. They will leap ahead of danger before they think of what they're making.
Aye, it's not
One of them is going to build a metal boat. And then,
true.
and then build another one because the first one failed. Because that's just how it works.
The
But they'll
careful
do it.
consideration of our guild isn't something to be taken lightly. Dwarven ingenuity, even though we move slowly, has always been millennia ahead of what the Groby produce. Or the Umgi. As
Right.
it is, like I was saying with black powder, if we give them black powder like we did, they now make artillery with it. And we are now responsible for what they do with that.
But they make things that you don't.
It kind of
And it-
shrugs a little bit. Not really.
One of these days, they're going to make something that you people were sitting on. And it will not be your fault, but it will be to your detriment.
You're
They
not wrong
don't-
about that.
They won't wait to see it somewhere else.
You'd be right about that. Humans move too quick. They don't live long enough to see the sort of outcomes of their actions. So sometimes they make foolish decisions. And we have to
And
be careful
they-
about that.
They don't seem to care.
They do not, because they don't live long enough to see all the ruination of the messes they make.
No.
It is the
their
great human
great-grandchildren
power to
would.
forget. So, again, it's why many in the guild prefer to move slowly and with caution with many of the innovations that we make. Because if other parts of the world, if we give it to them, or gods forbid, if they steal it from us, we're still responsible for any damage they may cause. So we have to be careful. I said that we should be using this technology, and that continuing to cut down fucking trees wasn't the best way to make ships. They disagreed and thought that continuing to use wood for ships not only benefited us, but it kept other races in check, to a manner of speaking. There's a great number
Well, what
of
about-
beasts and things out in the sea that keep us on this island.
Well,
more
what
or
about the
less.
elves? They're just as long-lived as you dwarves, and they don't seem to mind, right? Diving into whatever.
The
Like, sure,
Witelgi
they're
would
not gonna
be
be-
a bit less ingenuitous when it comes to technology.
Right, they're more along the lines of magic, right? And they're
Magic
not about
and
to start.
society, aye.
They're not about to start like clear-cutting forests, but they are leaps and bounds ahead in just pure magic, and that could be just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than building a tub that's big enough to put an army on.
I'd agree, but don't let the Wizards Guild hear you say that. He sort of, like, chuckles a bit. God, they'd never admit that Witelgi are better at magic than them.
Zach's
I'm not saying they're better at
groans.
magic. I'm saying that they
Yeah.
are more likely to take fewer precautions and therefore make bigger leaps forward.
The Witelgi live for millennia compared to the Dawi or the Ungi, to
Right.
humans and dwarves. They move at a pace much slower than almost any of the races here. And it's
But
one of
not
the
magic.
reasons that they're in charge of the empire that's out there, was because they see a bigger picture than the Umgi could possibly manage. Or at least so we're told.
And there's the weakness of the dwarves. Underestimating the people that are around them.
You might not be wrong about that.
Like, I see it in my own people. We are
Aye.
very prideful people. But that tends to mean that people don't keep others in mind.
Aye. You gotta pay attention. You're not
I am-
wrong about that.
And I am quite attentive.
Good. Hopefully that serves us well tomorrow.
I think it might.
All right.
I cast another produce flame on the rock.
Yeah, every now and then you might wake up as the stone's cooled like a little bit. You just quickly heat it back up again and snuggle in. The night passes by without incident. Nothing really, like, nobody comes in to disturb you guys. There isn't any other sort of things that take place.
There aren't any looky-loos looking in to see
Oh, no.
the queen, the ancestor, and the bug.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they're extraordinarily respectful of your privacy while you guys are staying at this particular place. Though, early the next morning, the door opens again to Barden, who's standing there, the dwarf attendant, and he then sort of like motions for you guys to come with him.
Floop
Is this
will
it?
empty her bucket and roll it, put it on her back.
I slowly uncoil from my sleep and do that big snake yawn that snakes do.
Like all the teeth.
Kind of terrifying at like 17 feet long.
Yeah.
Zach-
Jesus Christ.
Zax will take like pull off like a chunk of meat and like quickly take a few bites, set it down, like grab an apple or something like that, and then clean himself out with prestidigitation.
And I like see Zax do the prestidigitation to himself, and I like kind of nudge him, and I like gesture to myself.
do me next.
I do
Next,
the same
next.
thing. It takes a little bit longer considering it's only like
a couple of them.
Yeah, you casting prestidigitation, like slowly like clean up the party. The door is only like maybe a few inches open, and Barden is standing just inside the door, facing away from you guys as you guys prepare.
Just fucking gleaming.
Hell yeah!
Like
You get
polish- even after
polished.
even after the prestidigitation, I like rub the sigil of the tree-like massive snakes on the front of my armor.
All right. With that, eventually, once you guys are prepared, as a group, you are escorted out of the room and back out into the kingdom. As you guys move away from that area, some of the guards come in. They place manacles upon Garrick and escort him out in a different direction. You guys are then brought along through a series of hallways upwards to the large central structure that sits upon the area there, like in the whole of the kingdom.
I
After a
watch
little,
very closely as to where Garrick is being led.
from what you could see, he was led like down a different hallway, and you lose sight of him pretty early on. When you're watching him go, you see Barden goes, "He's just been taken to holding during this during the hearing here. That's it's just he's gonna be placed in a place so that he doesn't make a scene or anything like that. Everything should be fine, I'm sure. That said, if this does go on for a while, then sometimes hearings like this can be wrapped up in a day. Sometimes they can go on for weeks, depending. Who knows? He kind of shrugs. He brings you guys up to a waiting area. Sort of like an antechamber before the throne room itself. And then eventually, as the sounds of the city itself begin to fade into the distance, he brings you to a massive set of stone doors which sit open just a little bit. Bringing you guys in, you are brought to the throne room. I'm just going to move this a little bit so that everybody can kind of see more what's going on. There's a walkway that leads to a large sort of central platform where you guys are escorted up. You see on many sides there is just like these large dwarven helmeted faces carved into the stone walls with magma flowing out from their mouths, 2 large braziers on either side, and then of course sort of bristling with arcane energy there is a throne that sits on the far side. Upon the throne, on the front of it built in, is a large book stand with a truly fucking gigantic tome sitting upon it. Sitting upon the throne so that his head is actually about level with the other sort of human-sized members of your party. Oh yeah, also the mechanical mount is told to wait outside as you guys are brought in.
I would have assumed as such.
Yeah. You guys walk up, and sitting upon the throne is a large dwarf with a crown and a huge white beard. You see he's writing in the book, and there is a sort of like the grumbling that he's going through as he's writing is somehow both unintelligible and echoes throughout the halls. As you approach, Barden then turns to you guys and says, "You now stand in the presence of Hack King Thorgrim Grudgebearer." He then bows to you, bows to the king, and walks backwards out of the room. After he finishes writing whatever passage it was that he was putting in the book, Thorgrim places the tip of the quill that he was using to write back into the inkwell and looks up over the book at the assembled party. The book doesn't appear to obscure or obstruct vision to him through where it's placed. Sitting next to his throne is a large 2-handed axe that has been sort of rested against the side of it. Over his ridiculously large nose and just his beard, you see like the big furrowed, snowy brow. He addresses the party.
"So I'm told you've come here to speak on behalf of Garrick Steamhaft."
Yes, we have.
Zax rests on his rod, which is engraved with runic magic runes.
Floop is standing still, straight, and is trying her best not to croak out of nervosity.
No.
Trying her best not to croak. Just
Yeah,
outright.
yeah. Also that one. Cyaces kind of steps forward slightly and curtsies to the king.
He gives you a respectful nod in return.
Keeper stands straight at attention, gives a palm to fist salute and a deep, respectful bow.
Yeah, he also to you and also to Vrail gives you each a very respectful nod.
Garrick Steamhaft has come back into our kingdom to challenge his own exile. Something that no Dowie has ever done and survived. He was accused of standing against our ancient and sacred traditions. What have you to say in his favor?
And with that, we will wrap game for today.
Ah!
I had a whole thing planned.
Well,
That's okay.
write it
You
down
get to
because
practice it.
we're gonna do a
time.
whole thing next time when we do it again for the 8 team, ladies and gentlemen. This has been our D&D game. For this week with the A team, we do D&D every Thursday on this channel. We're running this monster campaign with the wonderful people that we have out here with us. Just absolutely wonderful people. Every other Thursday, we go from the A team to the B team, which is a team made up of community members who are also playing a monster group in the same universe as this. And on the odd occasion, one of them runs into the things that the other group has been getting up to, which has been super fun for me to write and plan and play out.
Did someone get clonked with a rock?
We will find out next time.
No, in the B team.
Oh, on the B team. Actually, yes, they did. I believe. As they were... I don't know if I wrote it down. I'm not sure if I played it out. But as they were getting in their carriage and trying to sneak out of the town that, like, an army contingent had moved into for some R&R, that somebody got fucking beamed with a rock.
Excellent.
That some
Sounds
drunken
like
soldier
terrible.
was like, yay, walking through the street and just like, like into the side of his head. And he was like, dirt, and falls over. Like,
Nice. Very happy about
I am also very happy about that.
that. Join us next month when we can see the A team again.
yeah. Assuming there aren't any delays on the B team side, we should be back at this again within 2 weeks. So thank you all so much for your views and your donations, your bits and subscriptions for both myself and for Spoots, who is streaming this over on her channel. We, of course, are going to go down the wonderful players that we've got here with us. Of course, we've got Cassie, D20 Love Chew. Go follow her on Twitter, playing Siaces Blue Leaf, our Banshee Bard.
Good night, everybody. Be good to each other and be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Everybody,
Yes.
love you
It's
all.
important.
Good night.
And we've got Spooty Poots streaming over on her own channel. That is, I believe, slash Spooty Poots, isn't it? Just on Twitch?
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Spooty Poots, playing Envrail Alo, our Bimg Snake Lady.
Bimg.
Like,
So
comment,
bimmed.
and subscribe.
Bimg
Ring
Snake
that
Lady
bell.
says, like, comment, and survive.
She
And we-
rolls a survival check at disadvantage. Fuck.
Shit, it, like, fucks up her tent. And of course, we've got Casey, the killing chick, playing our little frog lady, the grung druid Floop.
Surface boss. Wow.
You found some.
You're finding so much surface moss, and I'm so fucking happy for you.
I am so fucking happy for me too. And by the way, I found the perfect representation of Vrail yawning.
Oh, wonderful.
Good.
I posted it in the chat.
Oh, you posted it in the chat?
Yeah, in the A-team chat.
Oh, sweet. Yes, I'm gonna nab that. I'm just gonna quickly bring it over so the lovely people at home can see this and be terrified. Here we go. It's a
Yep,
big snake.
kind
Yep, that's what I was getting at.
Jesus Christ, how horrifying! And it's even a golden snake. That's super fun. On top of that, of course, up next we have Warden playing our monk Keeper, who is a Thrycreen, like a bug person.
4 arms.
He who strikes first strikes last.
Hell yeah. And of course,
Hey.
last but certainly not least, we've got Shaskar playing our Goblin Artificer Zax.
100% annoyed that the people aren't working together when they could be making things better.
Vex.
And I, of course, have been your kind and benevolent DM, Dr. Terawat, this evening. Thank you all again so much for coming out, and we will see you all again next time on our next live stream. End of line.
Good night.